stating that anyone caught posting the fake images would be banned. The images are, in fact, not fake, as there's a long documented history of his interest in diapers and his Binky artifact collection. Regardless, a few of the new moderators were promptly banned for their bad behavior and failing to enforce the rules set in place, even as not safe for work discussions continued to occur. One person asks if Nova can sit on a dildo. Another declares that anyone not 18 plus will be sent to Pound Town. Word of the server's existence was spreading far and wide by now, as trolls began finding invites and joining in droves. Pictures of Nova shirtless were spammed, as people called him a variety of names, the most prominent being to call him a pedo. Within hours, some more sophisticated individuals began joining as well, those with enough technical know-how to seriously screw things up for Gabe. Every channel name was changed to Fat Pedo Gets Hacked, and the hackers began spamming to the world, declaring victory over their target. At the time all of this was going on, Nova was actually live, and he didn't take it very well.
The server got nuked! The server! No! I swear to God! And there goes the server. Seriously? Me sideways!
I don't mean to encourage the hacking here, as not only would that be against the law, but I also would say that what these guys did was totally unnecessary. What I will say is that it's shocking how events seem to repeat themselves. We've seen almost this exact chain of events before. Nova starts up an unnecessary Discord server with the intention of venting to others online. Due to poor moderation, material that shouldn't be there gets posted. Eventually, trolls flood the server, spam embarrassing stuff about Nova, and it ends with the server being officially hacked. Nova ended his stream, posting to Twitter that he was not doing well mentally. And as much as people will make fun of this, it makes sense. His entire sense of self-worth comes from the internet. When things go wrong with his community shenanigans, it ruins his entire week, because why wouldn't it? With no job, very few friends outside of people he's met online, no consistent exercise, and constant consumption of fast food, why wouldn't he be feeling down? But the trolls would take it a step further. His uncle would have his phone number leaked, leading to a number of them contacting him, an event for which Nova felt some partial responsibility.
Mom, this is urgent. Urgent. Andy just texted me again. His phone number got leaked, and now he's playing.
Word was quickly getting out about what was happening, and Nova felt the need to respond. And he would, in the most Nova Online universe way possible, by freaking out.
I'm never being on another Discord server again. This is the my life, everything. I'm done.
As in character as this is, there's some part of me that feels like this is a calculated response. The reason I say that is, well, it's just too perfect. The way he holds the camera under his chin, the way his voice starts off normal and then gets high-pitched as it goes on, before somehow dropping his phone. I mean, he could have easily re-recorded this before posting it, so he doesn't drop his phone. But maybe I'm being too conspiracy-brained here. On the record, I'll take the tinfoil hat off and say that this is his real, genuine reaction. Whatever the case is, this entire situation would end up having a silver lining for the time being. That silver lining being that it went absolutely viral. As of me recording this, it has 9.1 million views, a number that only seems to be climbing more and more. Nova saw the numbers and knew there was a big opportunity for him to capitalize on. He didn't care that everyone who saw his account was just making fun of him. That's why his next upload was him singing a song to instigate the trolls even more.
This is something you trolls need to do, and something that I am working on doing. I will pay! I will pay you! No way! No, why don't you get a job?
The irony of him telling others to get a job is, well, it's so strong that I don't even need to explain any further. But it wouldn't stop there. The police would show up at Nova's door after receiving a report that he had kidnapped someone. Someone said I was holding my nephew hostage. They put me in handcuffs and took me to the cruiser and everything. Then they searched the whole house, and after they found out it was a SWAT attempt, they decided to question me on who might have done this. Nova goes on to explain that 10 police officers showed up to his house, plus 2 extra police cars blocking off the ends of the road to his house. They apparently searched the entire building, put him in cuffs. He thought he was getting arrested, but he was able to eventually explain the situation to them and prevent himself from being taken down to the station. Despite how disgusting Nova can be, I don't think I should be the first one to say that this is obviously too far. If Nova is going to get arrested for his inappropriate interactions, then let it happen the right way. All a swatting does is waste taxpayer money and police officer time that could be spent dealing with violent crimes, or offenses that can actually be prosecuted. And to make matters worse, at the same time all of this was happening, Nova would also announce that he had been in a car wreck. He stated, "The other car's airbags were deployed, and our car looks a bit damaged, but nothing major." However, based on the only available image of what happened, the damage in fact was relatively minor. Regardless, a lot of things were clearly piling on at the same time. Nova posted saying that due to the situation, he would be taking a break from TikTok. And I definitely think that's the right move. Taking some time to recollect himself mentally, and perhaps to even reevaluate his relationship with the internet would definitely do him some good. And the reason I say would is because that didn't happen. The next day he was already back, promoting his paracord bracelet business.
Hey, also, I did say that I was taking a break. However, I am still continuing to fulfill some NovaCord orders, and I'll be posting some soon. So, I'm taking a break from normal content, but I'll still be able to do NovaCord stuff. So, yeah. Since I've gotten a whole bunch of new followers, let me introduce what NovaCord is.
And while he
Let me introduce you to
Fiber internet here. Say engage with the amazing Chris. You took a cat and made him internet famous.
You should quit your day job. Don't quit your day job, bitch.
She initially claimed that the swatting traumatized him. It seems like Nova got what he wanted in the
Quit your
end.
day job,
Attention.
bitch. You suck
So,
at
a
music.
video I didn't expect to go viral is now my most liked video ever. The most liked video I ever got was about 770,000 likes. And the video of me freaking out because of my Discord server that I barely cared about anyway has almost 1 million.
You gotta love how he backhandedly states he never even cared about the Discord server anyway. I'm sure the more he states he doesn't care, the more everyone will believe it. They say that it's in the hardest times you grow the most. Nova defies that every day. Through this video, we can see where his priorities lie, which are in TikTok views. At any point, he could just log off the internet entirely, and most, if not all of this, would just stop. And while he is undoubtedly a victim in the swatting, and it never should have happened, ultimately, there are several other events that led up to it that were easily preventable on his end. But he does not care.
If we could get that video to 1 million likes, that would be my first ever 1 million like video in history. But hey, anyways guys, if you subscribe because of that video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Well, I'm actually getting so close to 5,000 subs, and I've been wanting a silver play button since I was like 13.
What?
And it's been almost 8 years in the making, so if y'all could help a homeboy
You gotta childish dreams.
out, that'd really be really appreciated.
All he wants is a silver play button, but that's probably never going to happen because to do that, you actually have to make content that someone likes. When he's not melting down or posting cringe, Nova's content is literally unwatchable. One forum user did the due diligence of going through one of Nova's streams, which was 40 minutes and 22 seconds in length. After cutting out all of the silence, it resulted in a total of less than 4 minutes of Nova actually talking. The rest was coughing, burping, and dead air. And that explains why, despite going viral again every 6 months or so, he's never able to turn any of those people into consistent viewers who support what he does. He is never going to be a proper YouTuber, at least if his content doesn't change. And from there, Nova just resumed his day-to-day, almost like nothing ever happened. Within 48 hours, he was doing karaoke at his friend's house.
Okay, I'm currently at my friend's house. Being really quiet. I'm gonna break them down with the songs very mellow, but I'm gonna go full death metal on them.
You almost have to admire the fact that, through it all, he continues to push on to deliver content to the fans, or rather, the anti-fans. He doesn't even seem particularly upset about the swatting. One thing I noticed about his TikTok when going through it was that he's even pinned a few of his biggest freakouts to his homepage, so he is at least somewhat aware of why people watch him, even if it's not always at the forefront of his mind. He knows that by pinning these, when people stumble across his account, they will find them, and that may lead to some small chance of him getting another viewer or regular troll who will keep up with his life. Immediately after the Discord fiasco, even more photos of Nova would be posted, this time of him dressed like a baby. One of the messages he sent would read, "The passy started to make my mouth sore." Another went something like, "I'm smiling under my mouth tape. Do you want pictures to make sure I'm still a good boy?" When asked if he was tired of the conversation, he would say, "A little bit, but the baby is still a little energetic." He then announced he would be changing into a onesie, which he did in fact do. truly amazing. And while you would think that the situation would scare him off from making other servers entirely, Gabe made sure to note that he would be starting another one within half a year, so it's likely that a similar cycle will repeat before 2025 is over. But in all of this, it's important to remember that Nova does not exist in a vacuum. Sure, his crash outs may be funny, but he also lives with his mother and the rest of the family, who can barely make enough money to scrape by, with his mom still having yet to receive welfare income from the government. Meanwhile, her 20-year-old son refuses to get a job and spends all day being a freak on Discord and posting TikToks, when he could easily be holding down a job and bringing in some cash for the family if he would just step outside of his dungeon. Whether he will ever do that remains to be seen, but
he did an entire documentary and he doesn't understand why this guy can't have a fucking job? Where are you gonna employ that dude at? No one wants to hire that fucking dude. You just made a fucking whole video on why no one likes him.
there's no shortage of reasons for Daniel Larson to be put behind bars.
I sent unsolicited pictures of myself to Grace when she was a minor and to other minors.
The actual reason for his charges can be roughly placed at the beginning of 2024. On the 8th of January, he posted this to his YouTube channel.
If I don't get the documentation proving that I'm trespassed, it's all fake.
This video was actually uploaded twice, under the titles Hotel Security claiming that I am trespassed without legal proof or paperwork by law enforcement, and Daniel Larson getting threatened and harassed by hotel security at Denver International Airport. Given his propensity to go to places like airports and malls to sleep or score some food, they're the most likely cause of this minor incident. The only additional information about the lead up to this was text posts on his TikTok where he claimed to be working with the FBI against his trolls, and that he had $600 stolen from him. Although he was officially booked the same day, it doesn't look like he was kept in custody for any significant amount of time, meaning he was let go with a warning. A warning that he didn't listen to, as on the very next day, he went right back to the airport so that he could go to the Canvas Credit Union to see about his bank account being drained by DLR Records and Entertainment. As you can see, the initially claimed $600 turns into $950 in a single day. How violent are these interest rates on Danderson? In reality, this is the same fake banking app he's always used to make this kind of post. But usually, it's to get people's sympathy and donations. This time, it seems like he actually tricked himself into thinking he was getting his real bank account drained, which led him back to the airport where he'd already been threatened with being trespassed, like a moth to a flame. The only archive of the live stream he did on the 9th comes from the YouTube channel Larsonian Institute, which gave context for the footage in the description. At approximately 4 p.m., Daniel was at the Canvas Credit Union inside the Denver International Airport, claiming that his original intent was to get a debit card. During the live stream on TikTok, there were 3 people visible. Daniel was seated in a chair, charging his phone and streaming, while a police officer was standing before him, along with airport security and a female who appeared to be working for the bank. Earlier in the stream, Daniel says multiple times, "I'd be more than happy to just leave." And the officer claims that he was already asked multiple times to leave and didn't comply. During the interaction, Daniel mentions his probation, and it's discussed that the officer will tell Daniel's probation officer what will happen. It is not known why the police were involved in the incident. From the footage of the live stream, Daniel surrendered and ended the live after the officer asked him to stand up. Meanwhile, if you take a look at the footage itself, we find out just how bad Daniel's legal situation already was at this point.
So in addition to the 2 warrants that we're going to take you on today, you have 3 additional warrants that are not extraditable out of Denver that you need to go take care of.
I am aware.
Okay, so that's 5.
And then I was also, like I said, I came here to the Canvas Credit Union because I had
I'm
to.
going to tell you that's not going to fly today. Airport office is going to explain that to you, so we can keep quick.
Beat-up Pick 6 meal for 2 is $19.99.
$19.99? Shut up!
About what?
Shut up!
Ah!
Don't let your vacation rental and your hammock be invisible. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com.
Quit going over that piece of information.
While the airport security officer later mentions that Daniel won't be charged with trespassing for having gone to the bank without a boarding pass, the police officer mentioned a total of 5 warrants on Daniel that aren't extraditable out of Denver, meaning his presence in an airport could indicate a flight risk. Interestingly enough, Daniel is only acting calm during this stream, because he eventually uploaded a few videos of the moments preceding it where he was arguing and trying to justify him being there to the officer.
I I just did business here. I'm waiting.
You have a boarding pass.
What?
You have a boarding pass.
I was at the Canvas
No,
Credit Union.
sir.
I don't know why you are treating me this way. I went to Canvas Credit Union.
You have ID on you?
I do,
I can see it, please.
but I don't
It's
need
not a
it.
request.
I would be more than happy to leave. I'm not past security.
I asked you that already, okay? And you chose not to. So we're gonna advise you on trespass.
I don't need a trespass. Like this is straight up harassment. I would be more than happy to just leave.
Well, we'll address that here in a minute, but along with some other business.
But I did come from Boulder, Colorado,
Okay.
because I had another appointment, and then I
Where
went.
was that at?
I'm not obligated to say.
No, you're not. But was it here?
And then I came here, no, and then I have another meeting tomorrow back in Boulder with my probation.
You're on probation.
I'm not obligated to
Actually, you
say.
are. It's part of conditions of your probation.
I am on probation for trespass
Well,
from a different location
Okay.
for a misunderstanding.
okay.
As the officer calls it in, he mentions that they were in the airport's chapel and not the credit union, meaning Daniel probably hurried to the chapel when he saw the officer coming for him in an attempt to hide. When this didn't work, he started telling the officer that he was on his way to court anyway, which, if it's not already clear, is an absolute lie. If he's on his way to court, why is he at the airport? It's funny how he randomly rats himself out for being on probation for trespassing while he's trying to convince this cop that he wasn't trespassing this time. Following the incident, Daniel's record in Denver included 2 offenses: failure to appear in court and destruction of private property, with a court date scheduled for late January. His bond here is listed at being $500, but it appears he was released on a personal recognizance bond, which is when a defendant is trusted and expected to appear in court and abide by whatever bond conditions are offered. I think anyone remotely familiar with Daniel can attest to this being a terrible mistake.
My inspiration behind this haircut, I wanted it to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger got struck by lightning, just like Albert Einstein.
After his release, Daniel immediately took to social media to try and recontextualize what happened, making himself look like the victim of persecution. During the stream, the officer informed Daniel that the reason they knew he was holed up in the chapel was because another guy in the chapel had flagged him. You can imagine how easy it must have been to notice a stinking and unkept Daniel Larson trying to hide from the police in the same room as you. In an attempt to get revenge on this guy, he secretly recorded a video of him and uploaded it under the title, "This crazy mentally ill person called the police on me and got me trespassed and arrested today." In the video, the guy seems to exhibit some Tourette's tics, which may be why Daniel described him that way. A few days later, Daniel made a flurry of posts to his YouTube to update his loyal following on his legal status.
I missed Boulder County probation today because I'm out of money from getting arrested at Denver International Airport.
What's up, Quinn?
You would think a creator that does nothing but eat food on camera all day would have a hard time getting into controversy, but several mukbang content creators have managed to make themselves extremely infamous, with few being as documented online as Amberlynn Reed. Amberlynn's lies have gotten her into mountains of controversy, as she has a rich history of Walmart scootering, supposed false allegations,
Pretty much being like,
accusations of scams, and most obviously, a very unhealthy relationship with food. Today, we'll be uncovering why she's so hated and much more as we journey through the entire history of Amberlynn Reed. Amberlynn was born on December 27, 1990 in Key West, Florida. Her parents struggled with drug addiction, and she had 3 younger brothers, Tony, Jonathan, and James. Now, it should be noted that a majority of historical events before Amber made her YouTube channel should probably be taken with a big grain of salt. Amber is a known pathological liar, and the amounts of lies she could tell in order to paint herself as sympathetic is unknown because no one was there. There's still a lot of interesting info here, but just be warned, a lot of it pre-YouTube could not be 100% true solely because her first-hand account account is the only thing we've got. While Amber was still in her parents' care, the family moved to Sonoma County, California. In 1999, her parents were absent when a near tragic event occurred. Her brother, Jonathan, almost strangled himself on a curtain cord, but Amber says she saved him. Soon after, due to her parents' drug issues, they lost custody of all the children. Jonathan, being a baby at the time, was adopted right away. Amber and Tony, however, were considered too old to be easily adopted, so they spent their childhood bouncing in and out of foster care. At first, Amber and Tony were placed in the same foster family, but after a while, Amber was moved to a different home while Tony stayed behind. During this time period, Amber shared memories of her foster care experiences. She recalled going camping, visiting Disneyland, and playing soccer, where she apparently won championships. She also mentioned that she worked as a choreographer for a dance group called Space and won awards for her performances. But things were far from perfect. Amber admitted that during this time, she would often eat all the food in her parents' foster homes. One notable incident occurred when she was in the Girl Scouts and was supposed to be selling cookies, but she ate all of them by herself, leaving her foster parents to cover the cost.
I was supposed to give the Girl Scout cookies over to the person who bought them, but I was 10 years old, crying in my closet, eating all of them.
After moving from foster home to foster home, Amber eventually ended up in a group home. Some of her worst foster care memories took place in 2001. She said that she was once thrown down the stairs, and another time, on September 11th, while she was watching the planes at the towers, she was force-fed yogurt.
I was being forced to eat strawberry yogurt, and it was making me gag, but we couldn't get up off the table until we finished all our food, so I was being forced. And where I sat at the kitchen table, I could see the TV. I looked over, and then all of a sudden, I saw buildings blow up.
By age 11, Amber weighed around 300 pounds. In 2002, Amber's parents had another child named James. Amber only met and held him once before he, too, was adopted, much like Jonathan. It's believed that this adoption was not a choice her parents made willingly. Despite these struggles, Amber's parents were able to regain custody of her and Tony in 2003 when she was 12. However, they lost custody again in 2005 when Amber was 14. Around this time period, Amber began to smoke and, as she later revealed, had thoughts of ending her own life, which led to her being sent to a psychiatric hospital for a brief stay. Amber described her teenage years as wild. She smoked, drank, and skipped school frequently. In 2006, Amber claimed that at the age of 15, she was approached to become a plus-size model. However, her parents allegedly refused to give permission for her to pursue it, even though they didn't have physical or legal custody of her at the time. Some people find her story hard to believe, since plus-size modeling in 2006 generally featured women who were more average in size, and the trend of obese models didn't become mainstream until about a decade later. Because of her size, Amber faced significant bullying in high school, where classmates gave her harsh nicknames like Fat Amber and Smelly Amber. Apparently, one of her teachers felt bad and helped pay for her to join a diet program, possibly Weight Watchers, but Amber admitted that she failed to stick to the diet. In 2007, at age 16, Amber was officially expelled from school. She decided to attend a continuation school and claimed that she graduated on time with a 3.9 GPA. After aging out of the foster care system, she moved in with her grandmother. Soon after, she began an online relationship with a transgender boy named Casey, who had not yet come out at the time. Amber visited Casey in Arizona, but during her visit, Amber's grandmother told her not to come back due to Amber's apparent disrespectful behavior. As a result, she was forced to move in with Casey's family, who lived in a one-bedroom apartment. Amber didn't even have a job at the time, so the family gave her an ultimatum: either get a job or attend college. Amber chose not to go to college, and it wasn't long before things between her and Casey started to go downhill.
Do you like free things? Do you like awesome things? Well, today, I partnered with GamerSupps to give away free samples using my code TOM. GamerSupps is the best powdered energy drink in the game. They've got flavors like lean with this. So use my code TOM and
Traceable honey with nothing to hide. Busy Bee, the home of honey.
Your personal finances start with you, but they support your entire home team. With Thrivent, your money can be the people, causes, and communities you're most thankful for. Thrivent, where money means more.
I'm at gamersupps.gg to get your free sample. Or hey, if you miss out on the free samples, no worries, you'll still get 10% off any purchase at gamersupps.gg with my code TOM. Do it right now before something nice to you.
The fans didn't know about their issues until years later, but during this period, while still with Casey, Amber began talking to a girl online named Crystal. Even though Amber said Crystal just a friend, they did talk romantically, and Crystal would send her gifts. As Amber's relationship with Casey became more strained, she eventually made the decision to leave Casey and move in with Crystal. However, Amber quickly realized that she had almost no money, no car, and no way to actually move out of Casey's place on her own. This left her in a tough spot, so Crystal's mom ended up paying for most of the move. By 2013, Amber was officially living with Crystal, and this new chapter in her life seemed to motivate her to start a weight loss journey. Inspired by the change, she decided to document her progress on YouTube for everyone to see. Amber Lynn uploaded her first video on November 17, 2013, where she talked about her plans for a girl boss weight loss journey.
I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I see a lot of videos of other people doing it, and I think making these YouTube videos, it might make me accountable.
Amber's online following started out pretty small, but her audience was excited to see how her progress would go. And make no mistake, she was pretty big, so the idea of her losing a significant amount of weight was something that piqued the interest of her audience, no matter how long it would take. To kick things off, Amber posted her first weigh-in video. In it, she shared both her current weight and her goal weight. She started her journey at 368 pounds. She also mentioned that she had lost a decent amount of weight in the past and believed she could do it again, hoping it would be the solution she needed to turn her life around for good. However, things weren't looking the best after just a few days, when she posted another weigh-in showing that she had gained 3 pounds instead of losing a single one. Initially, her audience remained supportive, understanding that setbacks can happen. But as time went on and Amber started complaining about back pain and her struggles with binge eating, her followers began to lose patience. It became clear to many that her journey wasn't progressing as they had hoped. This led to criticism from viewers who felt that Amber wasn't being honest about her efforts or progress. She responded to the criticism in her own videos, defending herself, which only seemed to make her followers more frustrated and disappointed. In 2014, her audience grew increasingly frustrated with her lack of progress. At the start of the year, her weight had climbed to 377 pounds, 9 pounds heavier than when she initially began her weight loss journey. It seemed like Amber was full of explanations for why things weren't working out. She blamed the scale for being inaccurate, her diet for not being effective, and the pain she was experiencing as reasons for her struggles. There were moments where it seemed like she really tried to turn it around, but she often found herself admitting defeat. For example, she once planned to eat 1,700 calories a day, with the exception of Thanksgiving, but failed on the very first day.
Already messed up. And today's only the first day. I just don't know what to do.
As it became clear that her weight loss progress wasn't going anywhere, Amber began shifting her content to include vlogs. While she had dabbled before, by 2014 it became a bigger focus of her channel. Amber's girlfriend, Crystal, often appeared in the vlogs. Amber had already attracted a number of online critics, and she became obsessed with responding to hateful comments. Some of the negative attention spilled over to Crystal, and Amber was particularly defensive when people insulted her girlfriend. As Amber's channel transitioned into more of a vlogging format, viewership began to drop. Her everyday life didn't seem all that interesting, and if she had continued to focus solely on vlogging, her channel might have faded into irrelevance. But Amber, seeing the signs, eventually returned to focusing on her weight loss. She began posting almost daily and stuck to her routines more diligently, and for the first time she saw real progress. At one point she weighed in at 351 pounds, which meant she had lost 17 from her starting.
Well, get your money up, Void, and you can stop being a beggar your whole life.
This marks the return of old habits, and before long, she was back to slipping on her diet.
I used to be down 89 pounds. Here's my weigh-in photo from today.
Amber found herself back where she started, having regained all the weight she had previously lost. Still, she promised to get back on track with a healthy lifestyle. In early 2015, she began going to the gym more regularly and made some improvements to her eating habits, which led to a small amount of weight loss. It seemed like if she could stick to her routine and maintain a healthy diet, she might have seen significant progress. But as you'll come to learn, that's not really how things work with Amber. Once again, she fell back into old habits, indulging in fast food even while continuing to go to the gym. Despite her workouts, the weight wasn't coming off, and her followers were quick to point out that diet plays a more important role in weight loss than just exercise. But Amber wasn't interested in this advice and chose to ignore the feedback, brushing off anyone who tried to offer suggestions. In Amber's videos, viewers started picking up on the fact that nearly every time Crystal made an appearance, she was coughing, which eventually led her to see a doctor to get it checked out. The diagnosis turned out to be a simple ulcer, something minor and easily treatable. However, Amber reacted dramatically, blowing the situation out of proportion, even though it wasn't very serious.
It turns out that Crystal actually has an ulcer on her esophagus, and we never knew this. I just got done crying because I know ulcers don't kill you per se. It just makes me really sad, and it makes me want to sue the place. It's absolutely devastating.
By now, people had started realizing that Amber loved to shove her camera in almost any situation she found herself in, regardless of how personal it was. It became more apparent that YouTube was starting to become her life, and oversharing personal details would start becoming a staple of the forming Amberlyn Reed brand. Despite Crystal's health issue, Amber didn't change her habits or deviate from her usual pattern. She continued to binge on unhealthy foods, even though she often talked about returning to the gym. For weeks, she repeatedly promised to start fresh on Monday, yet those commitments never materialized. At the same time, there were also subtle clues as to why Amber might have been more emotional than usual. Crystal had begun sleeping in a separate bedroom because Amber's snoring had become unbearable. But it wasn't just the snoring. Crystal's patience with Amber seemed to be wearing thin. She had grown increasingly frustrated with Amber, which was clear from her attitude. She appeared less and less in the videos, and when she did, her irritation with Amber was extremely noticeable. At this point, Amber was also living without a steady source of income. She was posting regularly on her YouTube channel, but it was still relatively small, and she wasn't making enough money from it to support herself. As a result, she relied heavily on Crystal, who ended up covering most of their living expenses. Amber, in turn, contributed very little financially, which caused tension between them. Over time, Crystal began to grow even more resentful, and the relationship got worse as Amber continued to rely on her without taking steps to improve her own situation. By the middle of 2015, Amber's focus on weight loss had completely disappeared from her content. Most of her videos were now daily vlogs, with Crystal appearing less and less and less, as they became rather uneventful. As the interest in her channel began to fade, Amber once again decided to restart her weight loss journey. When she stepped on the scale for the first time, she somehow reached a new record, 403 pounds, her heaviest yet, 34 pounds more than when she had started earlier. Although Amber constantly spoke about being committed to losing weight, her actions didn't match her words. Her vlog still showed her eating poorly, and there was little indication that she was serious about her new journey. Thinking she needed support, Amber started saying that she joined Overeaters Anonymous, a program designed to help people who struggle with overeating, like Alcoholics Anonymous, except instead of Hennessy, it's McDonald's. Amber claimed she showed up early for her first meeting, standing outside in the rain, but after searching for the location, she gave up and never went back. With Amber's history of questionable claims, many wondered if she ever truly attempted to attend the meeting. Regardless of that, one thing was clear: Amber was gaining even more weight. She had completely given up on any sort of diet or exercise, and her weight increased to the point where her scale could no longer display the actual number. Time, Amber was also trying to learn how to drive, with Crystal dedicating a lot of time to teaching her. Despite Crystal's efforts, Amber never managed to get the hang of it. Just a reminder, Amber had been pretty much freeloading off of Crystal and her mother for over a year at this point. The fact she was not even willing to learn how to drive, along with a plethora of building resentment throughout the months, 100% contributed to Crystal eventually reaching her breaking point. On April 15th, 2015, Amber would finally upload "Going Through a Breakup."
This is probably gonna come at you guys as a surprise, because it came at me as a surprise, definitely. A lot of people guessed what I was going through. I'm not sure how. Lucky guess, we decided to break up.
Although Amber and Crystal had ended their romantic relationship,
That's too much. Much too much. It's really staring at the king.
Amber claimed they continued to maintain a friendship, with Amber still living in Crystal's house. Almost immediately, Crystal began searching for a new partner, leading Amber to understand that her time in the home was quickly dwindling. Interestingly, the breakup seemed to spark a renewed desire in Amber to focus on her weight loss. She began to claim that she was counting calories and eating healthier foods. However, given her track record, it was hard for anyone to take her statements seriously at this point. Amber also mentioned that her aggressive weight loss efforts were causing her to develop gallstones, which are a little bit of a gross out warning here, hardened deposits of bile that form gallbladder, and that this was due to the drastic changes she was making. At one point, she returned to Overeaters Anonymous, stating that she had cried over 10 times in just 1 hour. Still, she didn't follow through with her commitment and soon reverted to her previous habits once again. It was already clear that Crystal had grown tired of Amber living with her, and as time went on, she faced the unsettling prospect of needing to find a new place to stay, all while lacking a job or a car. Just as it seemed her situation couldn't get any worse, Amber began to communicate with a new girl online, which was probably the one thing she had going for her at the time. Amber would eventually reveal that the girl she was talking to online was named Destiny, and the relationship was progressing at a rapid rate, most likely because Amber was on the verge of being evicted. Amber quickly moved in with Destiny and her new roommate, and after, Destiny became a regular feature in Amber's videos. Her wacky expressions made her far more entertaining than Amber, providing the much-needed boost to her content. Destiny also owned several pets, including a cat named Gracie, who one day went missing and was never seen again. Fans speculated that Amber might have deliberately let Gracie outside, but there wasn't any proof at the time. Also at that time, Destiny had already reached the pet limit for her apartment, and it was clear that Gracie didn't have a strong bond with Amber, nor did Amber care much for the cat. Amber had long harbored dreams of having her own child, and even established a fund for that purpse before Gracie's disappearance. Thus, the timing of the cat's vanishing act and Amber's swift acquisition of a new cat named Wasabi raised suspicion among viewers, but there was no proof of this. Destiny, of course, was heartbroken. Gracie was her beloved pet, and she had this cat far before Amber even came into the picture. Destiny held out hope for Gracie's return, while Amber appeared largely unaffected by the whole ordeal. In 2015, financial issues began to emerge in the household, especially after Amber moved in. Destiny appeared to struggle to sustain their lifestyle, leading Amber to sell many of her personal items to avoid having to get a job. Amber did eventually start applying for work, and one of the roles she targeted was the same as Destiny's, a care assistant job, which involves helping elderly or disabled patients with tasks they can't even manage on their own. Alongside her job applications, Amber would say that she was officially part of Weight Watchers, trying to get back into the weight loss content. Fans had liked seeing Destiny and Amber making content together a lot more, but that didn't stop them from getting into a few minor controversies. One of the funnier examples of this was when Destiny used the N-word in one of Amber's vlogs, which outraged some people even though it was in the context of a song lyric. Around this period, Amber also provided a weigh-in update to track her weight loss progress. She claimed to be following Weight Watchers and many were eager to see her results. Surely this time, because of the Weight Watchers, she had at least lost a few pounds.
I weighed myself when I was 425.8. That is the highest I've ever weighed in my whole entire life.
That's right. Not only had she not lost any weight, she was up to 425. Fans were curious about this development, and Amber started receiving some major backlash for her dishonesty. And Amber and Destiny would frequently eat out, often citing their busy schedules and lack of time to prepare meals at home as the reason. It was also during this period that Amber famously attempted to introduce veganism into her life, saying she would commit to eating vegan meals at least one day a week. Unsurprisingly, this didn't last long. At the start of 2016, Amber would once again start a new weight loss journey at the beginning of the year, but her scale ended up not being able to weigh her. After purchasing a new one, she weighed in at approximately 460 pounds, which was 40 more than the last recorded weight. By April, she had reached 470. Amber also started making a habit of placing the blame on others, specifically calling Destiny an enabler, and saying that she needed more support to succeed in her weight loss journey. This may have contributed to cracks in her relationship with Destiny, similar to what happened with Crystal. Destiny then started appearing less frequently in the vlogs, though a bit more than Crystal had, but the difference in her enthusiasm and presence was definitely noticeable. By this point, people had started recognizing a recurring pattern with Amber, and they labeled it the Amberlynn cycle. This cycle typically began with Amber attempting to redeem herself, presenting a new weight loss plan, doing regular weigh-ins, announcing a shift in mindset, purchasing new tools or joining a new program, and generally displaying a positive attitude with a renewed sense of determination. The second phase would begin when things started to unravel. She gradually slipped back into old habits, eating out more frequently, skipping weigh-ins, and showing a general disregard for the goal she had initially set. Next came the third phase, where her backslide became more obvious. She would openly indulge in large amounts of fast food and junk food, confessing that she had abandoned her diet efforts, often providing explanations such as struggling with a disorder or other excuses to justify her behavior. Finally, the cycle concluded with a phase of emotional manipulation. She would break down in tears, offer apologies, and express that she needed time for herself, but without ever accepting real responsibility. The cycle repeated itself several times by now, and would continue to do so as time went on. A few months into 2016, Destiny's grandfather tragically suffered a heart attack and was hospitalized, which was understandably a frightening experience for both her and the entire family. But Amber chose to vlog during the car ride to the hospital, casually sharing this deeply personal situation with her audience, all while displaying a notable lack of sensitivity. It felt reminiscent of how she acted when Gracie went missing, where she seemed emotionally detached. On the flip side, during this period, Amber's emotional state seemed very unstable, as she was constantly reacting to the growing negativity and feeding into the hate she received online. She appeared perpetually upset by one thing or another, and this turmoil came at a particularly difficult time, as Destiny's mother was also dealing with serious medical issues. The two decided to move to Kentucky, supposedly to help care for her, though that didn't seem to result in much actual assistance. Amber got into hot water again when she vlogged at a child's grave. One of Destiny's friends had tragically lost a young kid, and to pay her respects, Destiny wanted to visit the grave. Amber not only vlogged the entire journey to the cemetery, acting unexpectedly cheerful, but also recorded footage of the grave itself. It's doubtful that she had the mother's consent to do so, and her upbeat demeanor on the way to a child's grave was seen as very unsettling. This was not the last controversy, though. After moving to Kentucky, Amber would find herself embroiled in yet another issue, this time involving her previous job. For months, she had claimed to be working full-time and been putting in her best effort. However, a video would soon expose that not only was this not true, but also that several other things she had said were lies.
The only else I've lied about is the job I had in Florida. I told you guys that I was a PCA worker at a...
Buffalo Wild Wings Pick 6 for $19.99 is the perfect meal for two.
For two humans, not whatever you are.
I am a burger-loving buffalo with wings.
I've never seen a make and model like you in my entire life.
Oh, I get that a lot. You should see my mom. Pick 6 meal for two for $19.99.
When you donate plasma at BioLife,
You're giving someone with a rare or chronic health condition the chance at a better life. BioLife helps you make a real difference while earning a little extra. Make an appointment today.
At a assisted living facility, full-time, and I wasn't. I was a PCA worker at an assisted living facility, but I was not full-time. I felt so guilty about my life in Virginia. I lived with my ex-girlfriend for years without a job, and I lived off of her parents, and a lot of people didn't understand why I didn't have a job at the time, and this and that. I wanted you guys to be proud of me. And I thought I seemed like some freaking awesome person, and really it didn't. My weight, lied to you guys per se about it, but I definitely haven't been like into like telling you guys my weight. I'm fluctuating a lot. Whenever someone asks me, you know, oh, she's gaining weight or whatever, I always just say I'm losing. I don't know. I just feel like it's so much safer to just say what people want to hear, but I feel like people will not hate me for it.
The part of the video that shocked most people was Amber's lie about Destiny's mom being ill as the excuse for moving to Kentucky, when in reality, they just wanted to move.
The reason why we moved to Kentucky, I said it's because Destiny wanted to be there for her mom. I said we wanted to take care of her. I think I might have said that in a vlog. I don't know why, but it's not the truth. We were just tired of Florida, but I just felt like it was easier for me to say, you know, oh, we just want to be there for her mom.
Viewers were obviously extremely upset that Amber Lynn had tried using sympathy for the reason why she moved to Kentucky, but more than that, they were just puzzled. She could have just said, yeah, me and Destiny want to move to Kentucky, so we're going to do that. It's not like she had to justify moving to her audience. Several people at this point were starting to realize that Amber was more than likely a pathological liar. When it came to not telling the truth, she just couldn't help herself. Even if it was pointless, Amber once again gave up on trying to lose weight and went back to vlogging, uploading more content than ever since she was now making money on YouTube. Occasionally, she would post rants, and one of them was about her ex, Casey. In Amber's video, she accused Casey of being a rapist, claiming Casey had committed illegal acts, portraying herself as a victim. Somehow, Casey managed to find this video and actually made a response that no one saw coming, completely refuting everything Amber had accused her of and saying that Amber was the abuser and not her.
The places she said about being hit, those were the exact places she hit me. I was the one being abused. I didn't do it, and I damn well did not hurt her. One time, I don't know why we argued, but I was put on the bed. She wailed on me, beat me real bad. Did I fight back? Nope, not that time. Why? Because she kept calling me an abuser. So I just took it. I took it. Then she took off outside to the bus stop.
Casey would show proof to back up most of what she said, and pretty much prove that Amber had been cheating on her with Crystal before they had even broken up. Amber's response to Casey's video was probably one of the funniest response videos ever, as she decided that a great way to refute all of her points was by making a sick poem about it.
Escape the pain and the outwardly insane. Escape the thoughts and the online taunts. Just admit you were wrong and play a different song. Admit the guilt you've sown like a misguided basket case of poisoned sentences. My life is my story, but yet you've written a chapter.
It didn't take long for the comments to overwhelmingly make fun of her for how absurd this was. Because of this drama and what felt like Destiny's personal life being invaded by Amber Lynn's obsession with putting everything online, it became obvious that Destiny was drifting away. She seemed irritated with Amber most of the time and was constantly on her phone. Eventually, after months of the relationship crumbling, Amber announced that she and Destiny had officially broken up, and the fans were pissed.
I am getting an abundant amount of people just upset with me. Why is Destiny's Facebook say that she's single? Why aren't you on her profile picture? Like, what is happening? Like, why are you doing this to us? Destiny broke up with me.
It came to light that Destiny had been talking to other women even before the breakup, so despite claiming they were still on good terms, it was obvious there was tension between them.
Couldn't sleep very long.
Amber constantly tried to win her back, even though Destiny had clearly moved on and quickly started dating someone new. After that, Amber began drinking more in her videos, frequently crying, and talking about how she needed to put herself back out there. Despite her emotional struggles, she was actually losing weight, which seemed to improve her mood a bit, but things took a turn when Destiny started bringing her new girlfriend around, making it clear to Amber that the relationship was truly over. The three of them would even hang out together, even though it was pretty awkward with Amber being the third wheel, and the tension between them only grew until, just just like with Crystal, Destiny apparently had enough and moved in with her new girlfriend. Amber was now completely alone, which apparently activated some kind of survival sense in her, because not long after Destiny moved out, she had already found a new girl. Amber's new girlfriend was named Becky. Strangely enough, they first connected in the comment section of one of Amber's videos, where Becky showed a lot of belief in Amber, and from there, their relationship blossomed. Amber said she was really proud of Becky, who was a refreshing change compared to Destiny. While Destiny could be rough around the edges and a bit outspoken, Becky was calm, soft-spoken, and composed. When she did speak, it was usually to share something funny or tell a story. Even though Amber was hesitant to film Becky due to past issues with recording her partners, Becky didn't seem to mind at all. Becky, Amber and her viewers were introduced to new characters like Raph and Hannah, who became part of their friend group. Raph stood out with her hobby of collecting dolls, something that many saw as not being a casual interest, but instead being in a way that almost gave off an unsettling serial killer vibe. It was also kind of awkward that Raph was Becky's ex, which added some tension between the three. Obviously, it didn't take long for Raph to start bad-mouthing Amber to Eric, her roommate, saying she didn't like Amber. Eric immediately relayed all of this to Amber, leading to some serious drama between them. The situation escalated with both Amber and Raph going on separate live streams to bash each other, talking about how awful the other person was. This escalated even more when Amber dumped her cats at Raph's place after moving in with Becky, citing that the landlord did not allow pets. Raph tried to help out by arranging for one of the cats to get fixed, with a woman from an Amber Lynn fan group covering the cost by paying the vet directly. The appointment was all set, but when Amber found out, she wasn't too happy. She had Becky drive to Raph's house in the middle of the night during a thunderstorm to pick up the cats. One cat in particular had apparently also begun pissing all around Raph's house. Around 2017, Amber began calling herself the binge monster whenever she would abandon the diet or skip a weigh-in. She basically used this term to justify any of her actions towards Becky. She claimed that the binge monster helped her block out anything negative as a form of defense, an unstoppable force of sorts, like a wild animal feasting, and if anyone dared interrupt her, she would pounce. While we're on the subject of Amber Lynn's relationship with animals, viewers had also begun pointing out that Amber's dog, Twinkie, had put on a significant amount of weight over the years, possibly because Amber was sharing her own food with the dog. Twinkie had gained so much weight that one concerned viewer actually contacted animal control, believing the dog was living in unhealthy conditions. Animal control did show up to check on the situation, but nothing came of it. Not long after, Amber posted a video addressing the visit and concern over Twinkie's weight, calling whoever called animal control insane. Around this time, Amber had now reached 498 pounds. She promised that not only would she avoid eating out in January, but Becky would also join her on this weight loss journey. Amber shared her plans, saying she would exercise more and stick to her diet, posting videos to keep everyone updated. In the first week, she did manage to lose a few pounds, but the second week didn't go as well, with her admitting to binge eating and indulging in candy. By the third week of January, she had completely returned to her old habits. Despite these setbacks, she still managed to lose some weight by the end of the month, a small victory considering what would become two of the most difficult years for her. An unusual development this time was Destiny appearing in Amber's videos. Things became even stranger when Amber started flirting with Destiny in front of Becky. Despite the fact that Amber had seemingly settled into her relationship with her, this wasn't the only shift happening in Amber's life. She was prescribed depression medication by her doctors, and viewers would notice a slight change in her personality in future videos, saying that her eyes looked more and more hollow. The following months were filled with failed challenges, unmet weight loss goals, and tears on camera, and by mid-2018, Amber had crossed the 500-pound threshold, and the weight gain didn't seem to be stopping. During this period, she also discovered that using clickbait titles was a very effective strategy to attract more viewers, which in turn generated more income. As she continued this approach, it almost seemed like she was motivated to gain more weight and rely increasingly on sensationalized content. Instead of discussing her weight openly, she would title her videos about starting a diet, only to follow them up with videos of her eating chocolate. This behavior understandably frustrated the audience, and it was even evident from her appearance that she was continuing to gain weight. People began comparing pictures of Amber from when she started the channel to the present, and there was a noticeable difference. Amber admitted to relying heavily on scooters while shopping, since walking had become a major challenge. Whenever she did walk for any length of time, she would often complain about back pain and blisters on her feet. But by October, there was a glimmer of hope when Amber spoke about meeting with a dietitian. She claimed that this expert understood her struggles and would guide her back on track. However, it turned out that Amber had connected with this dietitian through Instagram, and after finding Amber to be annoying, the
Neither am I, so it's all cool.
Issues, personal struggles with Becky, and friendship squabbles, making it a difficult time for Amber. But 2019 would prove to be even more insane. Amber kicked off the year by stepping onto a massive new industrial scale, revealing an astonishing weight of 560 pounds. In response to the revelation, she declared that this time would be different. She was finally ready to lose the weight she had been promising to tackle for 6 years. She recorded a video where she expressed her determination and commitment to change, this time for sure.
I'm gonna do full body shots every beginning of the month. I'll do random weigh-ins for you guys because I don't have a set schedule when I weigh in. I don't want to get discouraged. This year I'm very much making it about me
I am a priority this year, and I usually don't make myself a priority. So I'm excited for this year and the changes to come.
Despite how things have gone in the past, this actually led some viewers
All the commercials, man.
Old Spice Gentleman Super Hydration Body Wash with 24/7 moisturization and vitamin B3.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit, even when other lenders won't.
to believe that Amber was finally serious about losing weight, generating a lot of excitement. But the reality of the situation was quite different. By this point in time, it became clear that Becky had taken on the role of Amber's caretaker, managing household tasks that Amber could no longer handle due to her size. With Amber's significant weight gain, she required assistance in nearly every aspect of daily life, leaving all chores to Becky. Furthermore, Amber's ongoing health issues worsened, impacting her mood in her videos and straining her interactions with others. One notable incident that upset many fans was what they referred to as Shrimpgate. In a video where she sat down for a mukbang featuring shrimp, Amber remarked that her viewers were obsessed with her weight loss journey, labeling their interest as unhealthy. The comment alienated some loyal supporters who had stood by her for years, effectively insulting them for their genuine concern. As a result, many fans unsubscribed, marking the first time in history her subscriber count began to decline. In an attempt to show some real commitment, Amber began filming more exercise routines and healthy eating habits. However, many viewers remained skeptical, believing that these videos were merely for show, while Amber's actual lifestyle behind the scenes was still quite unhealthy. During this time, Becky's mother, Norma, was also diagnosed with cancer. Amber Lynn posted a YouTube video, which has since been deleted, where she and Becky discussed Norma's diagnosis and the treatment process. Amber Lynn also promoted a GoFundMe page for Norma in the video, as she urged viewers to watch and click on the ads. But people started to get suspicious about this GoFundMe as details were not adding up. I'm Becky's mom's very best friend. I want to make something very clear. She's trying to bring attention to herself as always. We should all know already Becky's mother has breast cancer, and no, she does not help at all. The drive to the hospital for surgery was a 7-hour drive. Plus they had to stay 2 nights, and no, Amber did not go. And now she has to have another surgery this week because they didn't get all the cancer. And the B word talking about Amber Lynn is worried about uploading a dumb video. If people only knew Amber, they would not watch her at all. She's a very cold-hearted person, very money hungry. Although Amber Lynn didn't go with them on the trip, she reportedly paid for their hotel once they arrived. Throughout the video, Becky made conflicting statements about her mom's insurance coverage, saying at different times that the insurance would cover half, wouldn't pay at all, or had denied coverage. Norma herself also gave mixed information, at one point stating she had insurance that would cover her treatment, and later claiming she did not, though these comments were later deleted by Amber Lynn. At the time, Norma was married to someone named Jerry, who was later revealed to have been in the Navy. His ex-wife then went on Kiwi Farms and dropped an absolute bombshell. Norma, Becky, and Amber Lynn started to try to scam unsuspecting people on GoFundMe. To answer some questions about Jerry's retirement, yes, he retired from the U.S. Navy. We actually met while both of us served in the U.S. Navy. I was injured in the line of duty and was medically discharged. I know how Navy retirement and insurance work. You get half your base pay for the years you were in and your discharge rank. It's not actually a retirement per se. It's a retention payment. In case of a full-blown war, they call up all retired military. TRICARE covers the spouse and underage dependents. Cancer treatment is 100% covered, including implants and reconstructive surgery. He also has a full-time job. People were extremely upset, to say the least. The idea that the GoFundMe was never necessary in the first place and that Amber Lynn and Becky had openly lied was insane. After getting a tidal wave of hate and losing subscribers, Amber Lynn took down the video and responded in a YouTube community post now that she had been caught red-handed. My video about Becky's mom's cancer has been deleted by me because I had no idea about certain protocols when it came to talking about donations, ads, proceeds, money, charities, etc. If I did, I would have never spoken about it. I've contacted YouTube and spoke with them, and they suggested to take down the video. I explained to them that other channels might have already uploaded it, and they said that would be that channel's problem and no longer mine. My advice, delete the video too. It's truly been a hard time for all of us, and the mess going on online right now isn't helping out either. Please keep her in your prayers and thoughts. Thank you. On top of everything, during all the backlash, Amber Lynn became overwhelmed and ended up taking it out on Becky's mom, who was still battling cancer at the time, claiming she felt unappreciated. An audio recording of this incident later leaked, which made fans even angrier and caused Amber Lynn to lose even more subscribers.
I have left comments on your Facebook regarding your cancer. I have asked how you're doing. I have been there in that sense. Not once have you thanked me personally. I was going to give you for the video I made. Not once did you say sorry for any of the things that you have brought to my channel that is in a negative light. I am not trying to argue with you That is the last thing I want to do since you just got out of surgery. I'm just tired of the added drama onto my YouTube, and I'm tired of not being appreciated when I try to help you the best that I can.
Many wondered why Becky stayed silent while Amber Lynn disrespected her mother and acted entitled. Becky's lack of response confused people until it was later revealed that she had been on mood stabilizers, which left her feeling emotionally numb during that time. Becky later admitted that she hardly remembered anything from this period, but this could just be an excuse for the GoFundMe disaster. If you check out the GoFundMe today, it's still up and says that they raised $3,000. Even the top comment is someone talking about how Becky and Amber lied about the entire thing. It's still unclear to this day if anyone ever got a refund. Regardless, Amber Lynn and Becky's reputation was damaged beyond repair. On the 9th day of Vlogmas in December of 2019, Amber Lynn voiced her concerns about Twinkie's health, mentioning that the dog had difficulty walking, jumping on the bed, and was shaking in pain. Instead of taking him to the vet right away, Amber Lynn instead went shopping at Walmart and later had dinner at Chili's. She claimed that there were no emergency vets available nearby, but viewers quickly discovered that a 24-hour vet clinic was less than 20 minutes away from where she died. This led some fans to contact animal control. Rather than seek professional help, Amber Lynn gave Twinkie aspirin and later said that the dog seemed better the following day. Viewers would continue calling her out for this, and more of her subscribers were lost following this incident. Despite the increasing hate Amber had been getting, in terms of her weight loss, things seemed to actually be improving. But then, the pandemic hit. With lockdowns and isolation in full effect, it wasn't an ideal time to stay on track with weight loss, and Amber Lynn definitely struggled. Staying home more often, she relied heavily on food delivery like DoorDash. Amber used this extra time that she had during the pandemic to upload content to TikTok, which she seemed to really enjoy. Viewers also seemed to enjoy her content, and whether or not it was ironic viewership, she was still getting a good amount of views, and a few clips of her went semi-viral. However, she then faced another health scare, and this time it was more serious. After noticing an unusual amount of bleeding coming from her parts, Amber Lynn visited the doctor for some tests. She revealed that due to her size, certain scans couldn't be performed right away, and she had to wait for results. When they finally came in, it wasn't good. She was diagnosed with uterine cancer. She later shared an emotional video explaining her diagnosis and the steps she would take moving forward.
So I got my results back, and I do have cancer. I think the reason why I'm really scared is because of my weight, which is also my fault. As hard as this is, I still just want to keep trying to live my normal life.
All of this prompted Amber to start.
Oh, perfect time for an ad, I guess.
Let's peel the label to see where Busy Bee honey comes from. Each bottle can be traced back to the hives and
start taking her health more seriously, and the audience showed a lot of support during this difficult time. Despite the lies she had told and the controversies she had been involved in, no one wanted to see her go through something as serious as cancer. To remove it, she needed a hysterectomy, but before the surgery, she was required to lose some weight. Determined, she committed to dieting, exercising, and doing everything possible to improve her chances of success. However, instead of losing weight, she actually gained some more before the surgery. Still, it seems the procedure went smoothly, and she hasn't had any problems with cancer to this day. Things finally seem to be looking up for both Amber and Becky. They had both moved into a new place, Amber was cancer-free, and they planned to restart their weight loss journey together. Unsurprisingly, she never stuck to any of her goals, and Becky even revealed she had to help Amber with basic tasks, including using the bathroom, highlighting how bleak things had become in their household. It became clear that Amber Lynn's mental health was also declining. She stopped talking about weight loss entirely and focused on uploading vlogs, which was usually a bad sign for her progress. Her binge eating escalated again, as did the emotional breakdowns. One of the most iconic clips that went viral also happened around this time, and I think it really speaks for itself.
A veggie
Watching
sandwich.
YouTube, hanging out.
Literally just has veggies. They gave me 2 chips, although I asked for an apple, but that's
And a
okay.
little reclaim. Host, streaming
They gave me the
TikTok.
wrong sandwich. Oh no! Turkey with bacon and cheese.
That sounds good.
I'm really, really upset right now. I'll try it.
I'll
This is
try
a veggie
it.
sandwich. Wow. Alright.
What's up,
Well, here we go.
Amber Lynn then surprised everyone with a big announcement. She and Becky were engaged. While Amber Lynn didn't share many details, she described the proposal as very romantic and said,
Well, I'm not that baked right now, but that's why I'm doing this. Get a little reclaim for to put me in that sleep vibe.
was thrilled. This news came around the same time Amber Lynn started facing a second wave of backlash from previously mentioned controversies, as more people had started digging into her past after she grew more on TikTok. In response, she began live streaming more often, a move that worked in her favor since she could set the chat to subscribers only mode. Deleting comments or turning them off entirely had become a frequent strategy for Amber Lynn to avoid criticism. At this point, Becky's relationship with Amber Lynn was falling apart, at least from her perspective. The engagement, as it turned out, was mostly Amber's idea, and she had even purchased both of them the engagement rings. Becky had apparently tried to end the relationship once before, but wasn't able to go through with it. However, by 2021, Becky had reached her breaking point. Amber Lynn eventually uploaded a video announcing the inevitable.
Alright, so do you want to tell them? I'm gonna go ahead and just say it. We had broke up.
Like with Crystal and Destiny, both Amber Lynn and Becky claimed they would stay friends and continue living together after the breakup, though viewers were doubtful that would actually happen. Not long after, Amber Lynn started openly criticizing Becky during live streams, often making negative comments about her.
Well, good morning. I would sleep, but I got Smirnoff and Battlefield 1. Hell yeah, Battlefield 1. That's one of my favorite ones. My cat woke me up. What is that? My, are you talking about this? It's my Puffco. Get down, get off there.
As she would soon introduce a new romantic interest, who fans quickly nicknamed Wifey, marking the beginning of a new phase in Amber Lynn content. Amber had met Wifey online, similar to her exes. However, she stood out from Amber's previous partners because she adamantly refused to appear on camera. According to Amber, Wifey highly valued her privacy and wanted to avoid any potential backlash or hate from the public. After Becky eventually moved out, Wifey moved in, and it appeared that Amber had entered into another promising relationship. Yet, her decision to stay off camera sparked curiosity and speculation among viewers. Given Amber's well-known habit of filming nearly everything in her life, including vlogs during sensitive moments, like when her partner's family was in the hospital, some fans questioned how a relationship with Wifey could function without her appearing on Amber's YouTube channel. This led to a growing theory that Wifey might not even be real, and that Amber was merely using the idea of a new partner to gain some leverage following her breakup with Becky. While the theory entertained viewers for a while, it eventually lost steam when people confirmed that Wifey did, in fact, exist. Wifey also seemed committed to helping Amber improve her health, reportedly buying her weight loss equipment and providing resources to help her focus on her fitness goals. However, without Becky, and with Wifey remaining off camera, Amber's content once again lost its appeal to viewers. She stopped doing weigh-ins and largely avoided discussing her weight loss altogether, instead making mundane vlogs about shopping or trivial purchases like socks. As a result, viewership dropped again. In a desperate effort to regain interest, she started occasionally responding to criticism videos, which temporarily boosted her audience. However, she soon returned to her regular, uneventful content, and by 2021 and 2022, her channel had become notably dull. So dull, in fact, that even the hate watchers would get tired. In October of 2021, Null, the creator of Kiwi Farms, would officially close down the Amber Lynn board due to the content drought. In the last 2 years, Amber Lynn was proposed to and then dumped by Becky. That's it. She carefully maintains appearances, ices everybody out of her life the moment they make her look bad, and maintains an insufferably smug persona as she eats herself to death. She thinks she is beautiful, despite being objectively unlovable. To maintain this facade of beauty, she resorts to doing absolutely nothing but sitting on her sofa, pretending to live a better life off camera. This is not entertaining, and it does not deserve a dedicated board in our prestigious community. In 2022, Amber mentioned starting Ozempic, a medication for weight loss, but claimed she stopped because she was losing weight too quickly. Many viewers doubted the explanation, speculating that Amber might have stopped due to the widespread shortage of Ozempic at the time. For some reason, probably because viewership was dwindling, she also began stirring up drama with some of her exes. This feud first ignited when she publicly blamed Becky for delaying her cancer diagnosis. Amber claimed that if she hadn't been with Becky, she likely would have gone to the doctor sooner. A statement that baffled many is...
There you go. There's some action for tonight. There's the excitement.
He had threatened her, but it turned out she was being overly dramatic. Becky responded, saying that
It's a Puffco piece.
to talk about her. It was very clear Becky had moved on and wanted to leave that chapter behind, distancing herself from Amber entirely. The drama didn't stop there, though. It seemed Amber's past relationships were resurfacing to haunt her, as Destiny soon appeared with more accusations. After starting her own YouTube channel and streaming, Destiny faced a lot of questions from viewers about her experience dating and living with Amber. In response, she shared several embarrassing revelations, including confirming fan rumors about Amber's personal hygiene, such as not washing properly and repeatedly wearing the same clothing.
Shitty ass computer, loud as fuck, slow as fuck. Just trying to get a little hit of reclaim, and this is what I gotta deal with. Come on, man. Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike. And it looks like that's all she wrote. For wax. For, yeah. Reclaim. Wax. Reclaim. If you have stiff wire or something, since the reclaim is heated up, it should move easily. If you have stiff wire. I don't have stiff wire. This usually works alright, but there's just not that much reclaim, I guess, in there. Anyways.
Guys would always give her crap for wearing. She only had 2 of them. I don't remember how many she said she had, but she had 2 of the same exact bra because it was the only one that she liked and it fit her, whatever it was. She had them for a long time. Amber Lynn did not shower the whole time we were at my mom's. She did not like the bathtub. She refused to even try to get it in. I think she was having a hard time getting her leg over it. It was the thing that is pretty high at sides.
Whether it was due to the ongoing drama
Uncompromising energy deserves uncompromising quality, crafted without compromise.
with Amber's exes, or simply because of Amber herself, Wifey eventually decided to end the relationship. The exact reasoning remains unclear, but it's not hard to speculate. This breakup marked the end of what many considered Amber's dullest and most uninteresting.
No, I feel you though. If I had a metal coat hanger, that'd come in handy in a lot of situations. Because then I could, yeah, you could stick the metal coat hanger so you don't have to use the glove at all. Works pretty good. I see something. Okay, so smoke. Damn you, Scott. You smug bastard. Just kidding, Scott.
19, the once thriving Amber Lynn train is effectively grounded to a halt, with very little of interest.
I don't got a bobby pin. It's cool though. I'm almost done with this.
Around 500 pounds. While this was a rare, slightly positive piece of news, most of her viewers remained deeply skeptical, expecting that she would regain the weight that she had in the past. Also in 2024, she began featuring her mother in her content, sharing that she had fully recovered from her struggle with drug addiction and that they were reconnecting. A pretty wholesome development that viewers appreciated. By March, her weight dropped another 5 pounds, which caught some attention. However, true to form, Amber soon admitted that she had secretly been binge eating. To counteract this, she announced she was actually...
Yeah, sometimes I want to save some money on dabs, but then sometimes it seems like I should always stay stocked up on my dabs so I don't have to ever fuck with the reclaim like this. It's a duality I'm dealing with. Sometimes it's nice to be a little sober. Then, you know, I like to always have my smoke in me too. But, you know what I mean. At least I'm not like an alcoholic, and you wouldn't see me like drinking some fucking rubbing alcohol or some shit like that. There you go, some good reclaim right there. Oh, the premium. How was downtown tonight? Did I go? No, I didn't go tonight. I've been trying to, I'm almost done uploading all my footage from the last week or so. So that's what I've been getting done. And then I guess maybe I'll go out tomorrow or some point. I just don't know. It seems like this protest has died down in the last day or so. But you know, as long as there's still people showing up out there, I'll show up and cover it and get a little bit of content out of it if I think it's worth a trip down there. So, who else is smoking? I'm telling you, bro, these Michigan prices are nuts. Bought a $140 worth of gummies and way more than I expected. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm not, you know what I mean. I can afford to smoke every day. It's just like sometimes I feel like I'm spending too much on weed. So then I feel like maybe I'll take like a day or two break just to give my wallet a little bit of a rest. And I haven't really checked my bank account lately. Washington prices are good. Yeah, Washington prices are pretty similar to Oregon prices where I'm at.
Ozempic, but many speculated she had been on it all along, which might explain her earlier weight loss. With her history of fabricating stories, it became difficult for anyone to trust what she was saying. She had lied so much in the past about things that didn't matter that it was very hard to tell what was real. Recently, she introduced a new girlfriend, this one named Tommy, whom she had apparently met in person and even went on a double date with. Whether Tommy will bring any intrigue or be a significant presence in Amber's life and content remains to be seen, but only time will tell. Amberlynn Reed is an interesting case, partly because of what happened recently with Nikocado Avocado. For the one person who isn't aware, Nick had been
Alright, sorry, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. Oregon. Got family out there. Happens I can only get so high, but I didn't smoke or eat edibles. Yeah, I want to get some edibles, honestly.
I have showed my pay stubs to my probation officers and my case manager of CU Boulder. I had to turn myself in last week to Denver Police for my warrant from 2020. The Denver County Police Department is aware of my warrants out of California and New York, Manhattan. I am now being told that they are aware of me not paying my taxes and will keep an eye on how much I'm making. Denver County Police Department is now trying to frame me and claiming that I am a burglar when nothing has ever happened. I'm being told by law enforcement and probation, no more excuses, housing, or jail. The courts are claiming that Grace Vanderwall needs to come to Colorado to the courtroom if she has an issue with anything.
I like how his arrest due to trespassing suddenly morphs into him turning himself in halfway through his uploads. And he just has to conclude it by trying to get Grace Vanderwall to show up in court. Some things never change.
Grace ended up having sex with Jacob Sartorius, and Grace is now pregnant.
I gave you my heart.
He also claimed that his arrest caused him to miss his probation appointments, which could be him preemptively coming up with excuses for his inevitable capture due to probation violations, rather than missed appointments. His court date was set for the 23rd of that month. Care to guess what our boy was up to that day?
I am doing a fan meetup today at the Aurora Mall. $20 for unlimited pictures.
Most of his uploads from this day are recorded and posted from this mall, where he announces that he'd started college the day before, which is part of an elaborate ruse conducted by trolls who got on Zoom calls with him and just gave him fake information.
Now, the first king of ancient Texas, his name was Ashid Anfarad, and he was the first king. Now, that's important to remember because that will be on one of the quizzes that we have next week. All right. So if you need to take a screenshot of my presentation.
I think I saw this guy at a museum one time.
He invented the Caesar salad. He was the first leader of the United Nations, and he was the first person in the world to use pronouns. All right. Julius Caesar was addicted to nicotine, and you eventually banished all nicotine and nicotine users to Mexico.
Given that Daniel posted pictures of multiple plates of food, he was either with someone that day who paid for the meal, who may be these guys, or he was committing the crime of dine and dashing on the same day he was supposed to attend court. His criminal behavior also seems to have altered the course of his music career, marking his transition from pop to gritty gangster rap.
I have 2 rap songs dropping by March 2024. Don't ever think about dropping a song the same day I drop my music. You will get wiped out financially.
A few weeks passed by before he saw any sign of trouble, until suddenly, as he streamed in the early morning of February 3rd, he seemed pretty rattled.
You might have to go online. I don't know what that car was doing. That's the 3rd time I've seen the same police officer follow me. It's not like they can do anything. They're not after me. I haven't done anything. So they can't legally do anything.
He tried to calm himself down a bit by talking about what he was going to get for lunch and discussing how college students, whom he refers to as teenagers, were just getting out of class and were causing a ruckus in his area.
Fridays and weekends are terrible. Summer break is good, winter break is good, as long as it's not snowing.
This attempt was not working, as Daniel could be heard breathing heavily and walking faster, exhibiting clear signs of paranoia. Meanwhile, his bird of prey-like eyes darted all around. The one thing that his paranoia didn't seem to affect was his delusions, which remained as strong as ever.
I still need to also come up with $700 starting tomorrow, next week, in the hotel. Well, I have class in an hour, it's a music class, but I don't have the music for it because they wanted me to use BandLab, and they're not going to go over how to make a song in the class. They just say, oh, here, use this platform, do it. I'm getting so many gifts in this live stream, I might as well get an apartment tomorrow.
The gifts he got during the stream amounted to about $500 if his count is to be trusted. But still, that's not enough for an apartment. So what Daniel is probably trying to say is that he wants to spend it all on an expensive hotel room and then go back to being homeless 2 days later, stealing food and electricity from a mall. As the stream goes on, he complains about not having music production know-how and claims that Clark should learn and do it for him. For those of you who haven't seen the previous videos, ever since Daniel has had an online presence, he's always maintained a delusion that he's a successful singer-songwriter, and one of the ways trolls found to successfully capture his attention is to present themselves as a record label representative or manager. Clark was the last person to play the role of Daniel's manager, mostly during the year of 2023, and he was particularly infamous for mindlessly enabling Daniel. After complaining about him, Daniel follows up with the announcement he will be running for UCLA government.
It is true, I am running for the UCLA government, and the elections are today. I did find out where the drones were coming from, so UCLA is working with the Chinese government. I was being told that people are being followed by the Chinese government on and off campus. And also, there is no drone, so stop talking about the drones.
It's funny that the people in the chat keep talking about drones to try and make him even more paranoid. Later on, he announces that he will be purposely violating his probation.
I'm gonna be possibly in a new movie, so I'm gonna be traveling. Whether the probation allows it or not, I've already been accepted. It's not like I can just quit that job.
As he grows increasingly concerned about being followed, he basically starts stimming about his manager, Clark, Bob, and Tina, and Grace Vanderwall, blaming them for his life being messed up and him being homeless. I realize that some of you guys may not know who any of these people are, so I'll explain them as quick as I can. Besides Clark, whom we've already introduced, we have Bob, a longtime patron of Daniel, who basically adopted the role of his caretaker after his family could no longer handle him. His presence in Daniel's life can be summarized in him occasionally sending Daniel some money, which he always spends all at once in stupid ways. And whenever Daniel gets arrested, Bob is the one who bails him out and sets him up with a new phone, which restarts the larceny cycle. And I can't forget to mention that Daniel's only way of repaying him for these acts of charity is by blaming him for not helping enough and gaslighting him, which sometimes evolves to outright physical violence.
You're not helping me. You're not helping. You're hitting me. But you're not helping me. Look out, threatening to kill me.
We also have Grace Vanderwall, a singer among many other teen and preteen stars that Daniel was obsessed with when he started posting online, and Tina Vanderwall, Grace's mother. While the trolls pretended to be pretty much everybody Daniel was infatuated with, for whatever reason, Grace was the one he latched onto the most, as he believed that she was genuinely dating him and was going to buy him a house and go on a world tour with him. But before I go any further in this video, I have to sell things.
This video is brought to you by the Turkey Tom Shaker Cup, available for a limited time only. This is actually my first time being outside ever, because outside of this, I spend a lot of time locked in on the computer, and you know I gotta have my caffeine. And what better way to do it than with this cup and its epic design? It's got the Guno meter right here, so as it fills up, you can see the different tiers. It's dangerous, it's dark, it might get you put on a watch list, but that's fine because the federal government actually can't legally take away your GamerSupps cup. This is true, it's verified by true American patriots, and if they do take it away from you, you can personally call Donald Trump and have him get you out of jail. Not to mention, GamerSupps has 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and less than 1 calorie. Can you believe it? GamerSupps is also cheaper than energy drinks and soda, and there's no crash from this delicious, absolutely tasty meal. So use code TOM for 10% off right now at gamersupps.gg. I repeat, code TOM. The link in the description to get this epic new shaker cup. You're going to want it. You're going to need it. Get it before it's gone. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Alright, so back to the stream we were talking about before. Eventually, you can hear sirens in the background, which sends Daniel into an even deeper state of paranoia as he argues with his chat.
The cops are not coming, guys. LOL.
Just a few minutes before the stream was abruptly ended, Daniel walked into some sort of open establishment and suddenly started loudly talking about World of T-Shirts, Joshua Block, saying he got really drunk and violated courts. As insane as it is, I think this was an impromptu attempt to frame Josh for what he himself had done, as moments later, this happened. It's hard to hear, but someone calls out saying, "Hey," right before Dan looks away and ends the stream. Most likely, the person calling out for him was a police officer, as later on, it was revealed that this was the moment he was suddenly approached by cops who held and arrested him.
Wait, hold on, bro. Glove up. Put gloves on. You got the red shirt? I should. So we're going to take him from the chair, and we'll go across, so we're not fighting on the pillar.
So we're going to go ahead and make contact with him right now.
It's okay. Hey, buddy, it's okay. It's okay. Relax. Just remember to relax. Relax.
This same officer informed Daniel that he had 3 standing warrants for his arrest, and that he had been trespassed for life from the mall he was at. I gotta say, these cops were extremely good at handling someone as wiry as Daniel, as when he started rattling off his excuses for not showing up to court, the officer explained to him he just needed to call them to reschedule his appointments, which Daniel claimed he was working on doing. The specific warrant being enforced here was a $20,000 statewide probation violation warrant, but he had 2 others in specific counties that he had been running from. When they got to the station, Daniel asked to speak to a sergeant to complain about the arresting officers being too aggressive with him.
So when I was met with the officers that arrested me, they grabbed both my arms and put them behind my back.
It's called arrest control.
Right.
Okay.
And I feel like it was kind of aggressive.
It may have been a little aggressive.
Yes.
Okay, do you know what kind of warrant you have?
I do, yes.
Okay. Do you think that due to the fact that you have a history of being violent with other people, that maybe that's why they did that?
I just feel like it was aggressive for the meaning of what they were trying to do at that time. I feel like if I was being aggressive, then I feel like that makes sense.
Okay, did you make statements that you were going to shoot up the Aurora Mall?
I did not.
For context, between his previous arrest and this one, an incident took place in which an unidentified troll near Daniel's area noticed that he was loitering at the Aurora Mall, the same mall he was in on the day of his last arrest. This troll proceeded to approach Daniel and douse him with an entire bottle of fart spray.
Wait, let's drink.
While While it's obviously not okay to initiate altercations like this, especially in places like a mall where it can result in damage to the property or harm to Daniel, he responded in an equally not okay fashion.
This dude's freaking out. Holy sh... Hey, someone get security. This guy's freaking out. Say, this guy's freaking out. Someone get security. He's knocking over. Whoa. Hey, back up.
You're going to jail!
I can't play it here due to YouTube's amazing rules, but Daniel could also be seen hitting himself and heard hitting something else in the background. Following the incident, Daniel made a series of posts to TikTok claiming that he had been doused with pee, a stolen bottle of perfume, as well as alleging that the troll tried to get Daniel to go to his car and hotel forcibly, which is very odd. This incident was quickly absorbed into Dan's delusions, as he made another post saying Bob refused to help his security team and the Vanderwall family and management.
This is weird. This got weird. Venezuela successfully captures CIA-backed mercenary group planning a false flag operation in waters near Trinidad and Tobago, according to CIA-backed. I don't know nothing about that. Oh yeah. Fallen Chungus, artist in Sandy. You got a goal with the hair dreads or something? I'm just growing it back out to where it used to be. Buy yourself an ounce for $40. Might be a good idea. Once a time, mushrooms. Yeah, I need some mushrooms. Thumbs on my wrist, they dripping. Where did big guy go? Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom real quick. My stomach's too much coffee tonight, and coffee and meat, coffee with beef jerky. That's a daily mix. I quit nicotine about 3 months ago. It's the hardest substance I've quit. I constantly crave nicotine pills, but yeah, quitting cigarettes wasn't hard for me. I wasn't very addicted to the nicotine, and the cigarettes themselves were just like disgusting to me. The only thing I ever have trouble quitting is weed. That's the only thing I constantly like to smoke. Thumbs on my wrist, they tripping. Thumbs on my wrist, they tripping. Amen. Amen and amen. Now I want an almond. 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 Ugh. Who's excited for Halloween? It's gonna be a good day, everybody. God bless. Gesundheit.
Yeah, he is a pussy boy. Big pussy boy, big pussy boy, big pussy boy. Yeah, he is a pussy boy. Big pussy boy, big pussy boy, big pussy boy. Yeah, he is a pussy boy. Big pussy boy, big pussy boy, big pussy boy. Yeah, he is a pussy boy. Big pussy boy, big pussy boy, big pussy boy. That's right. He a big pussy boy. Pussy boy, pussy boy, pussy boy. That's right. He a big pussy boy. Get in the ring with me. Get in the ring with me. Pussy, pussy boy. Get in the ring with me. Get in the ring. Get in the ring with me. Get in the ring with me. Pussy, pussy boy. Get in the ring with me. I told you. I'm gonna pay you $500 if you get in the ring. It's that simple. We'll get a ring. I'll get in there. No headgear. No MC gloves. We'll see how tough you are. We'll see how tough you are. We'll see how tough. We'll see how tough. We'll see how tough you are. See how you play with that. See how you play with that. See how you play. See how you play. We'll see how tough you are. I'll even come to that shit hole, Alabama. Alright, pussy boy, they go. First of all, I'll even come to that shit hole, Alabama. Alright, pussy boy, they go. Pussy that. Here, big pussy ball. Pussy ball. Pussy ball. Pussy that. Here, big pussy ball. Pussy ball. Pussy ball. Which one's a pussy boy? Moon boy, North America. Moon boy, North America. Which one's a pussy boy? Moon boy, North America. Moon boy, North America. He's got a slight little problem. And, let me show you. He's got a slight little problem. Small little problem, not a big deal. Let me show you. What's the boy North mailbox? What's the boy North mailbox? Here's the strap on, I'm gonna arrive so safely. What's the boy North mailbox? That's right. He a big pussy ball. Pussy ball. Pussy ball. Pussy. That's right. He a big pussy ball. Pussy ball. Pussy ball. Which one's a pussy boy? Moon boy North America. Moon boy North America. Which one's a pussy boy? Moon boy North America. Moon boy North America. Which one's a pussy boy? Why were you just go get your mailbox fixed so you get mail? Well, I thought you get mail there anyway. But that's about it. There's one more I'm going to show you of the neighborhood. It's not really that complimentary.
I want to play another song, but I don't know if smoke weed and play guitar. That's what's up, bro. I wish I could play guitar. I feel like if I did play guitar, I'd be like addicted to it like that. That's a good hobby.
We realize stewards have other things that need to be done. That's why it's Get to Know Home Services from the Home Depot. Expert.
Fuck Home Depot. I've always had more of an interest in drums, so I always thought if I ever could pick up an instrument, it would be drums. But at my age, it seems like I'm not gonna ever join a band. So I'd just be doing drums as like a hobby. And yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll pick up guitar when I'm older, or drums, just for fun. What kind of guitar do you like to play? Is it like oldies, or what's your favorite stuff to play? My next door neighbor growing up, he was like a year or two older than me. He got a He got a guitar. He got a guitar when he was young, and he got really good at playing Metallica. Boston. Yeah, my friend was good at playing Metallica at like a young age, so that was kind of my my early influence. I feel you. Feel my home. Feel my phone. Feel my home. Feel my home. Girl.
Opioid addiction gets between you and what you love. Once monthly Sublocade may help you move forward in your recovery. Sublocade with counseling and psychosocial support treats moderate to severe opioid addiction in adults started on an oral dose.
What's good? What's poppy? Lord Zeph. Well, I guess I'm gonna have coffee as well, baby. Coffee time, baby. Stay up. for the team, bro. Thank you for the like. Hey, don't tell on me though. I know TikTok's got shitty rules. TikTok's got lame ass rules. Bitch ass TikTok rules. I'm surprised TikTok even lets me play this song, actually, you know what I mean? Nah, man. This is the Growlers.
Tomorrow night will go on without you, go on without you there. Tomorrow night will go on without you till dawn, and no one will care. Hesitation will leave you hung on the lips. Unclench your teeth, peel off a smile. See no one there when you release your grip. Nightclubs and back rooms, baggies in the bathrooms. Nothing's changed but you. Saying nothing's missing. Thoughts are drifting away from you. One more step and a long way down. The morning sun fills the void. Now you see there never was a over and over again, till you can no longer pretend you are safe. Try but you couldn't be any more sure, and the ending still will never change. Over and over again, till you can no longer pretend you are safe. Try but you couldn't be any more sure, and the ending still will never change.
When the world gave them setbacks, science gave them bounce backs. And when your vet delivered life-altering news, science delivered life-changing nutrition.
Liars. And that was a lie. And I determined that was a lie.
Don't give up yet when we've come this far. Remember when we met. It's nothing when compared to the hangovers we share. But rent sometime, we got steaks and cheap red wine. Come on and share my table and pour your heart into mine. I can be so glad till it's no fun. But all in all, time treated us fine. I can be so glad till it's no fun. But all in all, time treated us fine. Life were mom and dad. We've done enough of that. Impressions good and bad. Flattering copycats. Not digging through our trash. Licking our rusty cans. Life in the frying pan. Problems come in threes and we beat them down. It's nothing when compared to the hangovers we shared. But rent's on time, we got sibs and cheap red wine. Come on and share my table and pour your heart into mine. I can be so glad till it's no fun. But all in all, time's treated us fine. Time can be so glad till it's no fun. But all in all, time's treated us fine. It's time to rise, it's me, watch the neon light. Our lovers fly without rigid mind. It's time to rise, it's me, watch the neon light. Our lovers fly without rigid mind.
What's up, Relaxio? I'm not sure if I have. I'll check them out though.
What's tomorrow if no one's leading? Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Make your own world. Choose the dream world.
I won't find without a reason. I'm scared
back to college, Joe, so
You can't tell that story.
Josh.
Jam, man. Jam, man. Jam it, man.
Yes, I'm only a man, judgments of some nation, clocking like time is finished. The same as all replacements, ignorance is complacency. Why I am purposely faded, no sin, no sin, no stopping. Breaking through the neon prophecies. Come live my days, love. My time is fading fast. Through your mind and out you walk. Yeah, do what you say, say what. Till the sun comes up. Wash your hands and pray. Jesus is my name. Do what you say, say what. Till the sun comes up. Yes, that you I feel, but I don't know what it is. So I want, but I pretend I don't need. So there's a bed to the stop of love's kiss. I throw my pages all the way like shaking wrists. So shake me down, shake me up, shake me down, shake me down, shake me down, shake me up, shake me down, shake me down, so shake me up. Do what you say, so what? Till the sun comes up. Wash your hands and pray. Shaking hands, woman, till you die. Do what you say, so what? Till the sun comes up. Promise that you
jams, a lot of different cuts.
Taking the time to savor Thomas's crunchy yet soft bagels.
Thanks, Tom.
It's Tom, actually.
Right, Tom.
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 You doing that on purpose?
Tom.
Town.
How have we got to town? Huzzah! A toast to breakfast.
They got a lot of different vibes. only playing their best songs, so you're getting a good sample of their best music.
But nothing quite ever comes out right when you're trying to say something clean. It's hard to hide from the crashing night. Nobody cares about a junkie's dream, more of a sucker than a fiend. It's hard to turn down a smiling friend when everything becomes a scene. You can't make old dreams brand new again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I highly recommend them. Let me go to the next. This one's. They got two more. I'll probably play like two more songs by them. But these are their top tier songs. edition. Hell yeah. Too true, too true. Too true.
So pretty as a girl who gives me all of her loving. Been so since the beginning. She's had my world from spinning. Is it too much to dream that we can forever be rare hearts that never disagree? Is it too much to dream that we can forever be rare hearts that never disagree? In case this is just a dream, I let my tired eyes leave. Lord help me, float down the street, sliding down the river of food. So let our rare hearts float together and disappear into the night. Live on dying here forever, lost in a city night, where I don't care about living, so that the world starts spinning. Is it too much to dream that we can forever be rare hearts that never disagree? Is it too much to dream that we can forever be rare hearts that never disagree? Is it too much to dream that we can forever be?
No, I think this is over several albums. Maybe that might be like over like 3 different albums. Maybe two or three albums. Ugh. But yeah, that's all their like top songs that I got in my playlist. But that, if you look up all their songs are pretty good. We going Brexit.
You're not getting replaced by AI. You'll be replaced by someone who understands how to use it.
You're getting replaced by
What are you willing to sacrifice to be famous?
You're replaced by AI. You too. You'll get replaced by AI. You can all get replaced by AI.
internet? Your dignity? Your safety? Or what about your freedom?
I just want to apologize for what I've done, and
If the answer to these three questions is yes, then you might just be Johnny Somali, one of the most hated streamers in the world, who is now facing a maximum of 31 years in a South Korean prison. But how did it get this bad? Not much is known about the early life of Ramzi Khalid Ismail. Before he began his content creation journey, Johnny was attending Arizona State University. At least, that's according to him. He's also claimed to be a real estate manager, a financial advisor, and even the owner of a vape company. As dubious as these claims are, they pale in comparison to his supposed ethnic background. He claims that he is half Ethiopian and half Somalian, and has claimed to be a former child soldier and Somali pirates, both of which are certainly untrue. What is known is that Johnny began uploading videos onto YouTube in October of 2022. Unfortunately, his original YouTube channel has been removed from the platform due to violations that we'll certainly delve into later, meaning that some of these videos in their entirety are lost to time. However, judging by the uploads present, Johnny seemed to be focused on vlog-style content, mainly showing off his experience at parties or clubs. After his first video, documenting a Halloween party in Arizona, Johnny had a handful of uploads in Bangkok, Thailand. These vlogs are not offensive by any means. If anything, they seem like innocent and earnest attempts at a career in content creation. Most of his videos only managed to get a few hundred views. However, he seemed to get lucky quite early, with a video titled "The Craziest Club in Bangkok" pulling in nearly 200,000 views in 4 months. Despite the spike in viewership, the content itself was nothing worth subscribing for, and he hardly saw any growth as a result. One viral video simply wasn't going to cut it for Johnny if he wanted to make a name for himself, and he needed to shake things up. This likely explains his decision to begin IRL streaming, something others like Neon, Jack Doherty, and FouseyTube were finding success in at the time. Of course, Johnny didn't just borrow their format. He also adopted their propensity to disturb the peace and farm clips, and he came up with the perfect environment to reign terror in. A country like Japan is a common destination for live streamers looking to spice up their content, with its beautiful cities, parks, restaurants, and general culture. However, most creators make it a priority to keep in mind the cultural expectations that come with visiting the land of the rising sun. One of those expectations is engaging in the strict social etiquette expected from Japan's citizens and its visitors, which emphasizes quiet, courteous, and polite behavior while in public. It's likely that these exact social staples are what drew Johnny Somali in, as they would exacerbate all of his public outbursts. And not only one day in, Johnny would make his presence in the country felt as he began harassing a Japanese citizen while riding the subway.
Why you do this?
For no discernible reason, Johnny decided it was appropriate to interrogate a random stranger on why they did Pearl Harbor and brought up Hiroshima and Nagasaki, obviously in reference to when the United States dropped atomic bombs onto those cities.
Nagasaki, you know Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We're gonna do it again. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We do again.
This is obviously ridiculous, not only because the man is clearly too young to have been alive or responsible for Pearl Harbor, but also because simply saying the names of two cities is not a clear slight or insult. Outside of the intent, it's just simply confusing. It's essentially the equivalent of walking up to an American and saying, New York City, Dallas, Texas, in the hopes of offending them somehow. This man, obviously confused about what was going on, and maybe even frightened by Johnny's aggressive diatribe, sat there trying to make sense of the situation. Luckily, a fellow American was also on the subway and decided to confront him.
You know. What? What do you mean? Where are you from? You know where I'm from? Where are you from? I'm from America. You're from America? Yes. So am I.
Johnny, likely believing he was also Japanese due to him being Asian, began incoherently yelling the names Hiroshima and Nagasaki at him as well. Of course, this also came along with threats of doing Pearl Harbor to you again.
So am I. You're from America? Yeah, you're being obnoxious. You know what we do to you? What do you do? We will do again. Do what? Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You understand? Do you think I'm Japanese? Where are you from? I'm from America. Where are you from? What's your name? Texas, buddy.
Now, realizing that his insults make even less sense directed at a Korean guy, he begins reminding him of the Korean War.
Korean War, you know what happened to you?
Making music with AI is not created made by another mind.
This line in particular, "You know what we did to you," is extremely funny when you consider that this guy could potentially be and is most likely of South Korean heritage. During the Korean War, the United States allied themselves with South Korea and assisted them in maintaining their sovereignty after North Korea invaded them. Johnny clearly seems to believe the Korean War was fought between the United States and Korea, a country that has technically not existed since 1945. The two would argue for some time before Johnny reached his stop and got off the subway. Fortunately for him, the situation had not escalated any further than a brief confrontation. However, it seems that someone amongst his very small viewership decided to clip this interaction on the subway, and it eventually found its way to both Reddit and Twitter. The clip quickly picked up millions of views, and infuriated almost everyone who saw it. Unsurprisingly, Japanese citizens became particularly enraged by what they saw, and one even took it upon themselves to confront Johnny directly.
No problem, it's no problem. It's no problem. No, no, no. No, we good.
You worked hard to cross that finish line. Now it's time to celebrate those memories. At Michael's, we help you preserve your keepsakes with
Yeah, we do.
Hey, we chill. So what?
The man eventually gets off his bike and starts walking towards him, which causes a visibly frightened Johnny to begin backing up. After walking away for some time, the man approaches on his bike once again, although he was not nearly as hostile as he would have initially assumed, simply hoping to have a discussion about what had gone down.
Somebody give me the money? No. Somebody give me money, and they said say it. No. So I said it on the train. You say it? Yeah. Somebody give me money. Somebody? You know, donation. Who? Somebody on YouTube and Twitch. YouTube comment? Yeah, YouTube comment, give me money.
When asked for a reason as to why he did what he did, he claimed he was told to do so by a donator, which seems to be a blatant lie. But even if someone did give him money, it's not like Johnny had to do what they said. He could have just ignored the donation. He has free will. At least I think he does. Shortly after, the police show up and question Johnny, although he received no real consequences at the time, other than a week-long ban from streaming on Kick, his primary platform of choice. Aside from that, if anything, he was positively reinforced by the situation, with a whole new set of eyes on his content waiting to see what he would do next. But as it turns out, Johnny wouldn't have to do anything to find his next viral moment. The day he returned to live streaming, Johnny made a promise to clean up his act moving forward. However, while making the promise, he was attacked on the street.
Let's be respectful, you know what I mean? I hope nobody in the chat was saying weird. If I go back to whoa.
Regardless of his stated intentions to respect the Japanese people, a large target remained on his back, and so there was no incentive for him to behave cordially either, considering that as long as he remained in Japan, he would also remain a prime target for confrontation. A few days later, a group of young men, led by the Japanese YouTubers Rengoku and Guts, vowed to find Johnny and scare him out of the country, and it wasn't long until they located the Airbnb he was staying at. What's more, likely in an attempt to get Johnny banned on Kick, Rengoku strips completely naked in direct sight of Johnny's camera. Luckily for Johnny, an English and Japanese-speaking translator was able to de-escalate the situation, and Johnny formally issued an apology.
Go men aside, Japan. Go men aside. I'm sorry.
Many in the chat, including Johnny's translator, seemed unconvinced that his apology was sincere.
You know, I am trying to. I told them sorry.
You were barely trying.
I told them sorry.
But regardless, Johnny did have a real chance to turn things around here. The Japanese YouTubers were willing to let sleeping lie and just back off. But Johnny was starting to develop an addiction to an extremely powerful drug, attention. He had gotten a few viral clips on Twitter and Reddit, and while the attention was all negative, his audience was undoubtedly growing, even if all of the newcomers were just there to see whatever shenanigans he got into and encourage his bad behavior. Ultimately, this chance to turn things around would be squandered, as only a day later, Johnny would have the police called on him again for disturbing the peace on the subway.
We are going to police station.
Why? Why police station? Why?
To hear your opinion on their
My passport's okay.
Apparently, one of the men present for the confrontation the night prior was following Johnny and called the police on him when he noticed him acting belligerent. Despite this, the police were kind and cordial with him, although their English was insufficient to effectively communicate. So they asked him to travel with them to the police station to meet an interpreter. This request greatly upset Johnny, who claimed to be a victim of racist persecution.
USA Embassy. I will go. This is racism.
Despite this supposedly unfair treatment, the police officers here were both patient and kind, and even escorted him to a nearby taxi and allowed him to leave. This should have been Johnny's sign to leave the country and return home, as it was clear that nobody wanted him there. However, likely blinded by the prospects of capitalizing on his recent infamy, he chose to stay. Unsurprisingly, a long string of encounters with Japanese citizens would occur over the coming months. A short while after this fiasco, Johnny was once again attacked in the street.
Right now, hop in this girl. Oh, whoa.
In only a few weeks, Johnny had managed to find himself not only as the most hated man in Japan, but also one of the most hated on the entire internet. Many were calling for his immediate deportation, while others were hoping for a potential jail sentence instead. Whether it be due to the immense backlash or the increasing hostility he was facing, Johnny seemed to believe that remaining in Japan was untenable for now. So he opted for a quick...
Well, I like AI for creating certain types of things. But yeah, as for music, it's kind of weird.
to Bali before returning, but not to Japan, but instead to Thailand. Despite his fears of unsavory consequences for his actions, Johnny had no intention of cleaning up his act. One of his main reasons for even visiting Thailand in the first place was to potentially come in contact with Ice Poseidon, the original IRL streamer. And as luck would have it, Johnny would find the perfect opportunity to introduce himself. In late June of 2023, Ice Poseidon was enjoying dinner with his girlfriend at a restaurant in Thailand. A fellow streamer, not with his group, eventually approached the table and began having a discussion, before stripping down his clothes to reveal a set of women's lingerie. One of the staff graciously asked the man to put his clothes back on, which he did listen to. However, Ice decided to remove his clothes shortly after and put the underwear on himself. Ice then proceeded to comedically give his girlfriend a lap dance, while his friend kept their private dining room door locked. If you did something like this in the United States, you would probably be kicked out of the restaurant in the worst case scenario. However, in Thailand, they handle disturbances like this very differently. The general manager, along with a handful of security guards, burst through the doors and confronted the group immediately.
And I would like all of you to go to the police station now.
Yeah, true.
You are doing something like this is unrespectful for Thai culture.
No, we're not doing any of that. No, it's not like that. We're not.
I see the photo and all of them have CCTV.
With the police on their way, the manager continued to scold the group for their behavior. Meanwhile, Johnny Somali was streaming nearby, and his chat informed him of what was happening. So, he made his way to the restaurant, with the intention of saving Ice Poseidon.
I'm here as a lawyer, listen. I have to save Chris.
Can you please turn off your live stream?
Oh no, it's not on, it's on.
It's not
It's
off.
live.
Please get out.
We have to save Chris. I'm here as a lawyer.
Johnny quickly made his way out, and Ice and his friends were taken to the police station a short while after. Of course, he wasn't done stirring the pot from there. He decided that he should visit the police station in the hopes of protesting the arrest. Although the police standing by refused his request to meet up with the group, and he was eventually told to leave. The issue with Ice and his trip to Thailand would linger for some time, with him spending a few months in jail before finally being allowed to leave. However, for Johnny, the moment had ended as soon as it started. And oddly enough, it was probably the least severe moment of his career thus far. But I'm sure you can guess that he would be back to wreaking havoc in his current stomping grounds. While Ice was still in police custody, Johnny was informed by his chat that a previous collaborator of Ice Poseidon, Burger Planet, also affectionately known as Burger Andy, was nearby eating dinner outside. So he decided to provoke him.
Out of here.
This interaction seemingly wasn't enough for Johnny, and a few days later, he would confront Burger Planet once again. Johnny was made aware that he, as well as infamous live streamer Sam Pepper, were hanging out at a nearby restaurant. With the intention of potentially farming a few extra clips, Johnny certainly got a lot more than he expected.
Come on, bro. There's a beautiful gift for you guys. Get out of here. Leave us alone. Shout out Eddie, dog.
Clips like these really go to show just how despised someone like Johnny Somali had already become. Burger Andy and Sam Pepper are by no means well liked within the live streaming sphere. In fact, they're probably some of the most disliked people you can find in the entire community. And yet, nearly everyone was on their side for this interaction. Regardless of how much of a nuisance Johnny was being, it was unbelievably satisfying for viewers to see him humbled in a manner like this. But by that same token, Johnny was giving people exactly what they wanted. It didn't really matter who came out of each situation as the winner or the loser. All that truly mattered was how many eyes he could attract to his platform. But just because Johnny was finding success stream sniping other creators didn't mean his encounters with strangers were over, with an English-speaking man who was married to a Japanese woman directly confronting him for his behavior.
You go over there insulting people like that. You know how many people died from Hiroshima joking about this? I know. So why are you doing about people? I was drunk. I was drunk. I know how many families suffered, people suffered because of that. You're on the train harassing people like that? I was drunk.
In my research, I've never heard Johnny defend his outburst on the subway as a byproduct of being drunk, so I'm pretty sure this is a lie he made up on the spot in fear of getting beat up. Johnny would be recognized again while walking through the streets in Thailand.
Yeah, this guy definitely fucked around and found out, and it was definitely satisfying for everyone who was watching.
By a young couple having drinks. While the man just verbally berated him, the woman got a little more physical. This girl, who was almost certainly drunk during this encounter, likely didn't realize that her outburst only benefited Johnny in the long run. The same can't be said for his next encounter. A short while later, Johnny would be recognized by another English-speaking man while roaming the streets, who wouldn't show nearly as much restraint as his last two encounters.
No.
Clearly, Johnny's attempts to dodge confrontation by fleeing Japan did very little in solving the issue, so he figured he might as well return to where it all started. If he was going to get perpetually beat up and screamed at regardless of where he went, he may as well do it in a place where he can farm as many clips as possible. While in Thailand, he claimed that he intended on returning to Japan in the hopes of apologizing to its people.
I'm going back to Japan soon, so I can make a proper apology to the Japanese people.
But it doesn't seem like Johnny had any intentions on following through with this promise. Unless, of course, he felt as though twerking in the middle of a subway the second he arrived in the country was a proper way to apologize. Johnny's second trip to Japan would somehow manage to be even more chaotic than the first, now accompanied by a fellow streamer named Gino, who would only serve to bounce off of Johnny and make his antics so much worse. And let me tell you guys, this Gino fella is a real scholar, a true intellectual.
I would wake up and I would check my underwear and it would be like, bro, it was all in my underwear, bro. Like, it was just gooey, crusty. It was a mixture of gooey, crusty. Like, when I wake up in the morning, it's just gooey, crusty, all in my boxes.
With a new partner in crime, Johnny was reinvigorated to get back out there and start ruffling some feathers, which he quickly got to work on. A notable moment early in their second trip came when Johnny, along with Gino, decided to stop by a McDonald's at 1 a.m. Very early into entering the store, Johnny is extremely rude and makes a racist remark about the Japanese language.
What does it say? The other shit in Mulan language, what does it say? This is in Mulan language, what does it say?
While ordering his food, Johnny is unnecessarily loud and verbally aggressive to the woman taking his order. However, things get worse when a different employee brings them their food, but requests them to not point the camera at him. Of course, Johnny immediately points the camera towards the employee, causing them to walk away with their food and promptly call the police.
Give me the food!
I'm not getting you on camera, bro. Just give me the food.
Uncompromising curiosity deserves uncompromising quality, crafted without compromise.
Johnny and his friend decide that it's appropriate to start yelling and screaming belligerently before charging back into the store and demanding their food. Likely getting sick of their incessant nagging, the employee caved and handed them their order. However, as they began walking out of the store, a man on a bike confronted him. Johnny clearly shows a disregard for anyone who isn't himself, prioritizing any viral moment or snappy headline to potentially get him a few extra subscribers. This is best exemplified when he encountered a Japanese Twitch streamer named Miyako.
You live right now? What you live on? What you live on?
I'm right on Twitch.
Twitch? Yeah. I'm on K. How many views you got?
I have like 2,000.
2,000?
Yeah.
I got 1,300. Why you blocking her? Why you blocking her? Oh my god, you got my name right here. You doxing me? What's up, dog? What are you
Miyako, likely unaware of who Johnny was at first, had no problem pointing the camera at him while engaging in conversation. The issue here is that Johnny is banned on Twitch. And for those of you in the audience who are unaware, Twitch has a very archaic rule where Twitch streamers are not allowed to feature banned streamers on their platform, not even on accident. Meaning that Johnny was directly putting Miyako at risk for a ban. While not realizing it at first, she quickly changes her demeanor when her chat informs her of who she's actually talking to.
What's up? How you doing? Yeah, I'm Johnny Somali. Somali. Yeah, Johnny Somali. I'm your friend. I'm Johnny Somali. I'm the most famous in Japan. Who are you?
Johnny directly tells her to get banned as she walks away, implying that he knew what he was doing all along and was maliciously trying to get her stream shut down.
Get banned.
Later on Miyako's stream, the young woman is seen visibly upset with tears in her eyes. On Twitter, Miyako revealed she had spoken with Twitch and managed to avoid a ban, and explains why she was so upset in the clip. I hope he leaves Japan soon. I felt helpless and I couldn't do anything, even though he was right in front of me. Thank you everyone for your concern. Although, that's not to say the interaction didn't affect her, with her claiming on stream that the interaction nearly gave her a panic attack. With the news that Johnny Somali was back and terrorizing anyone he could, it's no surprise that the local citizens and visitors alike became far more aggressive towards Johnny.
All you have to say don't grab nothing. Oh.
With two clean punches, both Johnny and Gino were knocked out cold. As they regained consciousness and picked up their cameras, it's clear to see that Johnny's mouth was visibly bloody from the encounter. For most people, getting punched in the face multiple times in public would be a big wake-up call. A moment of clarity, to realize that the path you're on is the wrong one. Whether it be because you want to do the right thing and stop being a nuisance to everyone around you, or because you just want to keep all of the teeth in your mouth, it's the time to quit. But this did not deter Johnny by any means. One of the main reasons for this, aside from the increased viewership, is the lack of legal repercussions. Despite Japan having strict social principles, these don't necessarily translate to any form of law that could put him in jail or get him deported. But Johnny would eventually fly too close to the sun and get himself put in handcuffs. In late September of 2023, he found himself next to an active construction zone and decided to enter the job site without permission.
He's going into the warehouse? Nah, this is wild. I'm just a cameraman right here. I'm just a cameraman. I don't know what the f is going on right now.
Even Gino, who has no problem with egging Johnny on in other situations, verbally expressed discomfort here, giving himself an alibi for a potential arrest by saying, "I'm just a cameraman." Johnny continues to make his way through the construction zone with a skeleton mask covering his face, and eventually one of the workers stands up to him. Johnny then begins exclaiming Fukushima, referencing the nuclear meltdown that occurred in 2011, which displaced over 100.
Well, he got punched. Apparently, he and his friend got knocked out cold, and that was just that was early. So yeah, this is before he got attacked again and locked up. So we're getting to the good part.
50,000 people from their homes. This not only rescinds all of his previous apologies, but it also shows him actively doubling down on his obnoxious behavior. Johnny was able to escape repercussions for a few hours, but eventually, the police tracked him down and arrested him outside of a 7-Eleven.
Call the embassy. Call the embassy.
Gino was not on the scene at the time of his arrest and reacted to the news from his hotel room.
Gino, they're gonna get you as an accomplice? You think so? What do you mean they're looking for me? I'm in my hotel right now, bro.
Gino seemed to believe that he was safe from being arrested, and he decided to step outside of his room after waiting a few hours. What he didn't realize, however, was that the police were outside waiting for him. Gino eventually shut off his live stream, and he was taken to the police station a short time later. Although, as it turns out, his arrest had...
This is Turkey Tom on YouTube.
Seemingly nothing to do with him trespassing in the construction zone. Rather, it was the result of him blasting loud text-to-speech donations while in a restaurant.
Chinese virus. Chinese virus. Halal.
China number one.
We wouldn't hear much from Johnny or Gino for the next 2 months, as they were too preoccupied with court hearings to find time to harass more innocent people. But, in late November of 2023, Gino would make a surprise appearance on his Kick channel to explain what had been going on since their disappearance. Gino explained that he had personally managed to dodge any legal repercussions. However, Johnny was charged for the public disturbance at the restaurant and was facing a potential sentence sentence of 6 months in prison. In court, Johnny vowed to stop live streaming and return to America, where he would supposedly resume his studies. Ultimately, he was released from custody in January 2024 and given a fine of 200,000 yen, a little under 1,400 United States dollars. You may be confused as to why he would get off so easily. Well, it likely has something to do with the fact that he lied to the judge about numerous things.
The prosecutor asked me, you earn money from advertising your videos online, right?
Whether you're a professional contractor or simply take pride in handling your own home repairs and projects.
I said no. But you do earn money, right? No.
Of course, if he was willing to lie about his income, he probably also lied about his intentions to stop streaming and get a real job, which turned out to be the case. Johnny was fully committed to continuing his campaign, but Japan was off the table for obvious reasons, including the fact that he was banned from the country until 2029. So he needed to find a new country that would provide him a bounty of opportunities to disturb the peace. And he decided that there was no better place to go than Israel. I'm sure many of you are somewhat familiar with the situation happening right now between Israel and Palestine. And with the recent events on October 7th, the issue is still fresh in the minds of millions of people around the world. It was in March of 2024 when Johnny booked his flights and set off to Israel, while the fallout from the attacks was still very fresh. This in and of itself was a bad sign. But when you also consider that Israel has a large population of both Jews and Arabs, the potential for Johnny to bring up sensitive issues is super high. Only a few days after arriving, Johnny was quickly making his impact felt, and he found himself getting jumped almost immediately.
Hey, Joe, what was the problem earlier? What was the problem earlier?
Luckily for him, getting punched in the face was the worst thing he had to deal with. Meanwhile, the man who attacked him was put in handcuffs. While being arrested, Johnny approached him and began taunting him and calling him a monkey.
Go to jail, monkey! Monkey! You monkey! Go to jail, you monkey!
This outburst greatly upset one of the man's friends, who began pressing Johnny and threatening him, although he was held back and the situation did not escalate. That is, until Johnny began walking away, and a few more of his friends ran up on him and assaulted him.
Oh! Yo, what you run up with me? Yo!
But as we know by now, a few bumps and bruises have never dissuaded Johnny Somali from his typical antics. If anything, they seem to embolden him, and his next stunt was about as on the nose as he had ever been. Johnny made his way to the Western Wall, or the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, which is considered a sacred place for Jews to visit and say prayers. A common practice when visiting the wall is placing small notes containing prayers within the cracks. However, instead of bringing notes, he brought images of what he described as his favorite Jews.
Aiden, this is you. Epstein, you'll always be one of us. We love you. You're a king Jew. You're one of us. It doesn't matter what you did. You're still Jewish. You're still one of us. Fire one is Harvey Weinstein. I love you so much. You're one of my favorite top Jews. I love you.
Of course, an act like this would not be met without consequence, and he was quickly apprehended by police on the scene. While he wasn't thrown in a jail cell, he didn't walk away unscathed, receiving a permanent ban from Kick. Now, Johnny had nowhere left to turn but Rumble, as he was banned on every other social media platform imaginable. But, as the old saying goes, the most dangerous creation of any society is a man who has nothing to lose. Johnny wouldn't choose to tread carefully moving forward, as there was no incentive to do so. In fact, what came next was arguably the most outrageous thing he's done yet. On April 8th, a massive protest was taking place in Tel Aviv. Despite the sensitive nature of the situation, Johnny Somali began drawing a bunch of unnecessary attention to himself, so much so that one female Israeli police officer began to confront him. However, she had...
Oh yeah, I feel you there. K-Cup. Yeah, I don't like those because you can get like
Don't touch me. I'm from America.
plasticky taste.
That's why I grabbed it too. Y'all know Trump told me grab it by the... I grabbed that too. Stop playing with me. I'll grab you by the... Right here. I don't give a... I don't give a... I'm a different type of journalist.
He continued to harass the woman, as well as other police officers at the scene, leading to him being detained by a male officer.
I'm from America! I'm from America, USA!
I find it hilarious that Johnny repeats, "I'm an American," to the officer arresting him, as if that information would change his decision to put him in handcuffs. Even more hilarious is this image of Johnny being carried away like a child having a temper tantrum. Unfortunately, however, they didn't officially arrest him or take him to jail. They simply removed him from the scene and allowed him to leave freely. However, the police did continue to investigate him, approaching him once the following day and again in the dead of night. It was during this encounter that Johnny claims he was beaten by the police, which is a blatant lie.
The police beat me.
Huh?
The police beat me tonight.
What?
now.
It's also worth noting that apparently Johnny had witnessed a shooting at the restaurant he was at the same night of the protest.
Bro, I'm eating dinner right now with Amir and somebody just came in the restaurant, started shooting everybody, killing everybody, bro.
You would think something like this would inspire him to want to leave the country as quickly as possible, but for some reason, he didn't. In fact, he was directly violating his visa in Israel by staying after it had expired. He was initially not permitted to leave on time due to a blockade on Israeli airspace. However, once it was lifted, he remained in the country. This is likely the reason why the police barged into his hotel room at 4 a.m. and removed him. Now on the streets, Johnny began ideating on his next potential destination, initially proposing the idea of going to China.
It's not Chinese New Year's, but I'm bringing the fireworks, man. It's gonna be crazy. I'm going to China and I'm about to crash out.
Although it seems he changed his mind about this, likely due to the fact that he would probably be arrested and disappeared in record time if he behaved this way in that country. So he opted to stay in Israel and to continue overstaying his visit on an expired visa. Of course, he made sure to provoke as many people as he could, like a drunk Russian man he found on the street.
Slava Rossi! Slava Rossi! Slava Rossi! I'm warning him. I'm gonna kick him in his head. I'm warning him. I'm gonna kick. Oh shit! Oh shit! Right.
He was also confronted by the same guys that beat him up on his first night in the country.
Why you snitching, police? I don't snitch nobody. I don't think nobody. I'll beat him up. They'll back up.
And was choked out while begging for mercy. But eventually, Johnny's time in Israel had come to an end. He got an emergency passport at the U.S. Embassy and flew back home to America. From what I can tell, it seems like Johnny wasn't very active for some time. Maybe he needed to mentally decompress from the perpetual turmoil he had found himself in over the past year. But eventually, whatever money he managed to save up from his streaming days began to run out, and he needed to find a new lucrative way to make money. Rent was due, and he felt there was no better place to farm clips next than in South Korea. On September 27th, 2024, Johnny Somali touched down in the country, but this time was supposed to be different. He had previously begged Kick CEO Eddie Craven for forgiveness, promising that he learned the error of his ways.
Eddie, I learned my lesson from the Japan situation. I'm really sorry for anything that I've done to bring negative attention to Kick. I know I go viral a lot. It's not always for the best things, but Eddie, I promise you, I'm trying to reform. I'm trying to change.
While this request for a second chance seemed to have fallen on deaf ears, it does appear Johnny was making a real effort to get his act together. He was calling himself a reformed streamer, privated his old videos on his YouTube channel, and was even filtering out text-to-speech donations to avoid inappropriate outbursts. However, the allure of farming clips was too much for him to resist, and on his first day there, he already began harassing anyone he could. His first notable transgression came when he jumped on stage in the middle of a music performance.
Whoa! Whoa! Very nice! Whoa! Amazing! Whoa! Whoa! Jump on the stage! Down, down? Down? Oh, shit!
Despite this blatant disrespect, Johnny was still committing to the bit of recently reformed streamer. A short time after trespassing, he sat next to a statue of a woman and made an official statement on his behavior in Japan.
I stand with the Korean people. I love Korea. And everything that I did in Japan was for the Korean and the Chinese people.
This entire diatribe is already passive-aggressive enough, but the nature of his behavior in this video is much more sinister than you might think at first glance. You see, the statue that he sits next to and eventually kisses on the cheek is called the Comfort Woman statue. It pays tribute to the over 200,000 women and girls who were trafficked into Japanese military brothels during the Second World War. It serves as not only a reminder of what took place, but also as a protest to the Japanese government and their refusal to take accountability for the tragedy. It goes without saying that treating a monument of this nature as a prop for a passive-aggressive apology would not be received well by basically anyone. Even though Johnny was making a promise to respect the Korean people during his visit, he seemed to have no problem belittling their criticisms of him in the wake of the clip going viral.
I saw that the Koreans were getting mad about that Comfort Woman statue, so I'm like, we might as well make it matter. I think the main Comfort Woman statue is in front of the Japanese embassy, so that is where I'm going right now.
Even knowing full well the statue represented, he had no issue continuing to defile the sacred monument. Johnny then made his way to the Japanese embassy, making sure to harass as many people as he could before arriving.
Sir, is this legal what you're doing? Is this legal what you're doing? Are you on a tourist visa?
No, I'm not.
What visa are you on? Are you on a tourist visa? I'm checking. You cannot make money in tourist visa.
Once he arrived at the embassy, Johnny figured he might as well kill two birds with one stone and try to get unbanned from Japan. But unfortunately, the embassy was closed for a holiday. It seems that Johnny's intentions to visit the statue located at the embassy had faded from his mind, as he became preoccupied with dancing in the street in a traditional Korean dress, and of course, being confronted by angry strangers.
Let's not bother her.
Who the f*** bother? Are you gonna talk to her? Don't, I can call the police on you. You put a hand on me. I'll be on video. Don't touch me.
What's your name?
My last warning. My last warning.
He continued to wander the streets for the next few days, eventually stumbling upon a young woman standing alone on the sidewalk, just waiting to be harassed.
What are you scared for? Relax, yo. Why are you putting more on like this? Why are you scared like this? Whoa!
He decided to follow the woman into the store and continue to harass her until a man stepped in to intervene. Johnny was becoming more reckless, unruly, and belligerent by the day, seemingly begging to be arrested, confronted, or attacked, in the hopes of capturing his next viral moment. In this clip, an extremely intoxicated Johnny Somali begins spilling food and alcohol all over the floor, while blasting loud text-to-speech donations with no regard for anyone else around him. Unsurprisingly, one of the employees confronted him and eventually called the police. Luckily for Johnny, it seems he managed to flee the scene. Cops arrived. But something was missing from his content. There was a palpable lack of public transport harassment, which he quickly made sure to correct. Johnny, on a public bus, began blasting loud music and insulting fellow passengers, sparking a massive confrontation. Of course, despite numerous people surrounding him and asking him to stop, he continued to play loud music and act like a nuisance. Obviously fed up with his behavior, one of the passengers called the cops, and Johnny quickly made his escape before he could be caught. Unfortunately for him, the police were able to track him down. Was then placed in handcuffs and arrested. But Johnny wouldn't spend long at the police station, being allowed to leave about 4 hours after being arrested. Johnny was officially spooked, and he was desperate to not find himself in a similar situation as he did in Japan.
But the problem is the subway police know me. Now the upground police know me. Let's just leave all these. I'm ready to get out of here. I'm gonna get a ticket to Thailand probably tomorrow, if not the next 2 days.
Despite claiming that he intended to flee to Thailand, he did no such thing. Instead, he decided it was better to continue provoking the Korean people, specifically returning to the Comfort Woman statue outside of the Japanese embassy and making abhorrent gestures to it.
I brought the baby oil to this. I brought the baby oil. I was about to be there, but they said it's locked up, bro. They got this locked up in security.
Now incapable of accessing the statue or the Japanese embassy, Johnny decided to find a different Comfort Woman statue and make a complete fool of himself. He begins groping.
Have a good night. Yeah, I might finish my coffee and get to bed sometime soon too.
Kissing it, removing his clothes, and begins rubbing himself with baby oil, all while blasting loud music and grinding on it. He is unsurprisingly confronted about this, with one woman very gently explaining to him the statue's significance, which he pretends to be ignorant of. As bad as this situation was, it was about to get a whole lot worse, as Johnny's partner in crime, Gino, was making his way to Korea. Gino made sure to make his mark on Korea felt almost immediately, with him provoking a woman into physically assaulting him, and his presence only encouraged Johnny to continue to act out.
Hiroshima Nagasaki was a good thing.
Johnny's carelessness was at an all-time high, as he decided to once again blast loud text-to-speech donations through a speaker on a public bus, despite being arrested only days earlier for the exact same thing. And much like the last time, he was confronted by the cops.
I'm trying to calm down.
Johnny was able to avoid legal repercussions, but they wouldn't last for long. For the rest of October, Johnny found himself doing what made him famous, getting yelled at by strangers, confronted by police, and occasionally punched. It seems like every stream involved the police questioning Johnny after causing a scene or being a nuisance. This had become such a frequent occurrence that he was now on the cops' radar, and they were directly investigating a plethora of crimes he committed.
I don't do no crime. No crime. No crime. I don't do no crime. I don't do no crime.
As if it couldn't get any worse for him, after the police left, a random passerby sucker punched him when he wasn't looking.
Go to Johnny's room, we'll have a good time.
Johnny, despite having a clear disregard for the law himself, was deeply offended by this attack and decided to go file a police report. But the attacks wouldn't stop there. In fact, they would only escalate. A few days later, he would get jumped and chased down the street.
Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
The following day, another Korean live streamer attempted to stream snipe Johnny in the hopes of attacking him.
Johnny 어딨어?
A few days after this, Johnny was confronted by yet another Korean YouTuber who nearly knocked him unconscious.
어디가? 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 어!
It appears that both men were arrested and taken into custody, but released a short while later. You may be wondering what exactly is going on. Previous physical attacks against Johnny seem to happen in a spur of the moment, but these encounters seem much more premeditated. Well, that's likely because a bounty was placed on Johnny's head. Specifically, a 1 million won bounty was placed for anyone able to knock Johnny Somali out cold, and tons of YouTubers were trying to claim the prize. As if staying in a country full of people who want to kill you isn't bad enough, things got even worse for Johnny when an arrest warrant was placed for both him and his bodyguard's arrest. The charges included obstruction of business and violations of the Minor Crimes Act. However, Johnny had also committed a crime that doesn't even exist in America. For whatever reason, Johnny decided to create AI-generated videos of him making out with a female Korean streamer. South Korean law states that the creation, distribution, or possession of non-consensual AI-generated explicit content is classified as a sexual crime. Legal experts have confirmed that this offense carries a mandatory prison sentence of up to 7 years. This means that Johnny was also facing charges of sexual harassment. Seemingly with no hope of escaping, it seems that Johnny and his bodyguard turned themselves in. A few days later, on the 8th of November, Johnny made a public statement on Korean television.
So to all the people of South Korea, I just want to apologize for what I've done, and I really did not mean to hurt your guys' pride this much. You guys are good people, you guys are great people.
Despite trying to appear deeply apologetic, he hardly meant a word he said in this press conference. Johnny was eventually indicted, specifically for the clip of him at the convenience store, where he carelessly spilled food and drink while severely intoxicated. This meant that he was banned from leaving the country while he awaited a verdict. On the bright side, at least for him, he was permitted to leave police custody while the process continued. While he tried to convince the South Korean people that he was done with his days of trolling and harassment, he quickly changed his mind the second he got a fresh taste of freedom.
These motherfuckers are saying I'm getting 29 years. You're not gonna catch me alive. Dennis Rodman! I'm the next Dennis Rodman! Oh.
Seemingly with nothing else to lose, Johnny became more reckless than ever, persistently posting to his Instagram and TikTok accounts, egging on local prosecutors, his detractors, and the Korean people. This was really the only content we would get from Johnny for the next few months, and he would be almost completely radio silent in January and February of 2025. The only notable moment during this time period would come on the 17th of February, where Johnny would post a new video wearing a suit, a blonde wig, and a Make America Great Again cap.
I am part of the criminal nuisance live streamer gang called CX. We are ran by our top leader, Ice Poseidon. He's the leader of CX and Miskiff, the leader of OTK. We are part of a live streaming international criminal mafia.
Johnny comedically shifts all of the blame to Ice Poseidon, claiming that he is the leader of their group and the main reason he even went to Japan in the first place. He also ends the video with him ripping up a printed out picture of the rising sun. However, Johnny would officially make his return to streaming on the 7th of March, with the intention of streaming his trial.
And I will be live streaming the trial. I will be live streaming before.
Remember that trip? You snapped 9,000 photos, and only a few survived the group chat. At Michael's cut.
During and after, it's time for a redemption arc, a Johnny Somali redemption arc. I'm going to try to become a better man.
However, it seems that he showed up